Chapter 12:11, Your Own Path. Of course, it's just a name, so it doesn't really matter. Everyone has many teachers in their life. Many people won't ever leave their teacher because they respect them too much. Actually, it doesn't have to be that way. If you think of all your teachers as your masters deep in your heart, let it be that way. Doing things with your heart, that's what's most important, said Emperor Yu. Lin Feng didn't reply, he just sat and listened. But you can also refute everything that I'm telling you, everybody has different opinions. Everything I say might be wrong for other people, said Emperor Yu as if he were whispering. He didn't talk with insistence, instead, he turned his head and smiled at Lin Feng. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not very clear sometimes. He didn't look like what Lin Feng would have expected. I understand a little bit, said Lin Feng smiling wryly. I think you don't understand everything I'm telling you. For example, I'm your teacher, I will guide you on the path of cultivation, I will correct things I think you don't do properly, but everything I tell you might not be precise. Maybe the things I say will be right for me and my own body, but maybe that for you they will be entirely wrong. Therefore, no matter what I tell you, you should always engage in critical thinking. It's like most people think the sky above the sky is a celestial place, in fact, it's just what you have in front of your eyes. You probably want to ask me questions, said Emperor Yu smiling. Then, he lied down on his stone-long chair and looked at the sky. Teacher, last time I saw you, you looked very old. Now you look like a middle-aged man, you clearly changed your appearance. It's caused by cultivation. Maybe the next time you meet me, I'll look like a young man, just like you. Caused by cultivation, whispered Lin Feng. Then he said, what brought me to you? Lin Feng had wanted to ask that for a long time and now he was finally meeting the emperor in person. Show me your sword, said Emperor Yu. Even though Lin Feng didn't understand what his intention were, he had his Tianji sword appear. It was then floating in front of him. Not bad. It became so strong. Emperor Yu caressed the sword and gave it back to Lin Feng. He smiled and said, how's Tianji Z, that old dude? Is he alright? Tianji Z. Lin Feng frowned and stared at Emperor Yu. After a while, he relaxed and smiled wryly, seems like things are chaotic. Nothing is chaotic, it's just that everyone makes different choices, said Emperor Yu shaking his head. Everybody makes their own choices. Back then, Emperor Shi and I left Tianqi and decided to walk our own path. If a disciple leaves Tianqi and comes to Ba Huang, I'll help them, but they'll still have to make their own decisions and walk on their own path. Just like your 9 fellow disciples, and you. Last time we sent Qing Lin to Ganyu because we could never really forget about Tianqi. We organized a recruitment process for the first time, so we wanted to see if someone from Tianqi would come or not. Would there be disciples who are similar to us? If you hadn't come, no problem, but since you're here, of course we feel closer. Of course, if you hadn't taken such great efforts, I wouldn't have insisted either. Becoming an emperor was difficult, it was a complex path with many obstacles. Those walking on the path to become an emperor had to have many enemies and had to kill many people. Even with some help, people still had to make their own decisions. For example, emperors couldn't directly teach every single disciple, they couldn't care about every single thing happening in Tiantai, they couldn't get angry because someone had been killed outside. Those things were not problems for them. Could they manage and handle dozens of thousands of disciples directly and take care of all their problems? That was impossible. He would have to isolate himself from the world. Did you understand what I just told you? Asked Emperor Yu smiling at Lin Feng. I understand, said Lin Feng nodding. You don't, said Emperor Yu shaking his head and smiling. Lin Feng looked confused again. I told you, everything that I say is not necessarily true for you. For example, when I became an emperor, all my family members were already dead, so I wasn't attached to anyone emotionally, that's why I could isolate myself from the world. But what about you? You're young, if someday, you become an emperor, will you not be worried about your family anymore? Lin Feng smiled wryly. Emperor Yu was challenging him. Do you understand now? Asked Emperor Yu again. I understood, said Lin Feng smiling. What did you understand? Lin Feng looked at the emperor calmly and said, everybody has their own destiny, their own path. Your path is not my path. I must listen to my heart to find my own path. Alright, you already understand what life will be like after becoming a Zun cultivator, said Emperor Yu. Life after becoming a Zun cultivator, whispered Lin Feng. Indeed, after becoming a Zun cultivator, you'll walk on your own path and nobody will be able to help you anymore. You will have to teach yourself and see what's the best for you, said Emperor Yu calmly. Lin Feng suddenly understood everything Emperor Yu had told him and why he was telling him those things. Is Emperor Shi here? Asked Lin Feng. He's also walking his own path. I heard that Emperor Shi's precious stone is with you now. Now, you possess the two treasures which belong to me and Emperor Shi, said Emperor Yu smiling. He was lying on the stone chair, looking at the sky and chatting. In the past, he used to be Tianji Peak's leader and Emperor Shi used to be Tianxian Peak's leader. The Tianji sword and the Tianxian stone used to belong to them. Let's go see your fellow disciples, said Emperor Yu to Lin Feng. Then, he stood up, put his hand on Lin Feng's shoulder and shook it. The space around them was suddenly distorted and they disappeared. After Emperor Yu and Lin Feng left, there was a footprint where they just were. It looked strange as if it were changing every second. Emperor Yu and Lin Feng arrived in a city. It looked like a normal city where cultivators weren't so strong, where cultivators were only ordinary. In Lin Feng's field of vision, there was a monk begging alms patiently knocking at each door. Even when people kicked him out, he continued smiling. It was difficult to imagine that the beggar was an incredible cultivator who could destroy that place. Chi Er is practicing Buddhist cultivation and the Buddha golden body transformation, he has to be extremely determined while pursuing that path, said Emperor Yu indifferently. Then, they disappeared again. Lin Feng sensed a different chi, it was a terrifying chi. Now, they were on a battlefield. There were many Zun cultivators fighting and it was terrifying. All of them seemed like they could destroy the world. There was someone there, a cultivator in black clothes soaked with blood and holding a sword. It was the first Zun cultivator of Tiantai, Ruoxie. Ruoxie is a killer, so killing is his path, said Emperor Yu. Then, they disappeared again and appeared in the sky place again. The atmosphere was calm, it was as if they had never left. Emperor Yu went back onto his long stone chair and lied down again. He smiled and said, everybody is different. Muchen follows his heart's desires, he doesn't constantly look for opportunities. He is able to adapt himself to different circumstances and he feels at home wherever he is. The cultivation world is even more complex than I thought, whispered Lin Feng. The emperor had just taken him to a battlefield where there were so many Zun cultivators. What was that place? Teacher, what if my fellow disciple died on the battlefield? Asked Lin Feng. He makes his own choices, said Emperor Yu calmly. In the Ba Huang province, influential people come out all the time to fight, but emperors don't mind. It's normal. Unless another emperor comes out, emperors tend to keep to themselves. Otherwise, how else would emperors allow their disciples to grow up? This world is a bit chaotic. Lin Feng remained silent for a few seconds and nodded in a profound way. There were rules. If emperors came out to solve everybody's problems, disciples wouldn't learn for themselves. Emperors would end up destroying everything and then each other. That would be the end of the world. Chapter 12:12, Changes Everywhere. Lin Feng, now, you have already broken through to the 7th Tian Qi layer, and you will soon break through to the Zun Qi layer. You have to think carefully, what do you want to become in the future? Emperor Yu said in a deep and profound way. Some grand talents mature slowly, it doesn't mean they're suddenly enlightened and understand everything about cultivation, it means that they've found what was best for them. Some not so talented people progress extremely quickly, and some very talented people, after breaking through to the Zun Qi layer, progress very slowly because they walk on the wrong path. In such cases, they have to walk back and start from scratch again. What you do as a Zun cultivator determines your future, so it's extremely important. Lin Feng remained silent for a few seconds, then he looked at Emperor Yu and said, Teacher, what do you think is good for me? I don't know, you have to find it yourself, said Emperor Yu, shaking his head. In Fortune City, you met some people, for example Yi Ren Lei from the Heavens of Desires Palace. Her cultivation will always be about the 6 sexual desires, so she's stuck in samsara. Her path is the wrong one and she'll probably never be able to change it. Same applies to Zhong Renyu from the Church of Desire, who has chosen to be evil. He'll always be evil even though it's not his path. Some people walk on the path of desires, others on the path of mercilessness, some in the human world, and some others on the path of violence. Everyone has their own way to become an emperor and reach the clouds. Lin Feng listened calmly. Lin Feng realized that breaking through to the Zun Qi layer would determine the rest of his life. I heard you challenged Long Teng from Tianlong Divine Castle, said Emperor Yu, smiling in a resplendent way. Even though he was in the sky above the sky, he seemed to know a lot about what was going on outside. Indeed, a battle to death, said Lin Feng, nodding. I'll show you Long Teng, said Emperor Yu, smiling. Suddenly, they were both in a small world. Emperor Yu had created it as to not to disturb the people who were living there peacefully. Emperor Yu performed a knife hand strike with his hand and it seemed like a road appeared in front of him. There were stars all around and it was beautiful. A mirror appeared and there was a terrifying and aggressive person in that mirror. He was sitting cross-legged and had dragon scales all over his body. Long Teng. Lin Feng was astonished. The emperor had a technique which enabled him to see what other people were doing. At that moment, Long Teng's dragon blood was flowing throughout his entire body and modifying his flesh and muscles. Even though he was motionless, he looked ferocious. Lin Feng suddenly sensed a terrifying energy move towards him. He felt like he was suffocating. Kacha! A sound spread in the air, the stars broke, the silhouette disappeared and Lin Feng sensed that the oppressive energies had disappeared. Was that an emperor? Asked Lin Feng, petrified. It was Emperor Tianlong. I used the star mirror to show you Long Teng and Emperor Tianlong sensed it, so he broke my technique, said Emperor Yu calmly as if he had been talking about something normal. But actually, for Emperor Tianlong it was really something small this time. He knew that the two emperors and Emperor Tianlong were not good friends. Maybe things like that happened all the time between them, but most people didn't know about it. Ordinary people couldn't imagine what the world of emperors was like. Most people in Tiantai thought that their powerful Zun-level disciples practiced cultivation in the sky above the sky, but in fact they all did different things and in different locations. They were all walking their own path. Long Teng is in the mysterious dragon world of Tianlong Divine Castle and Emperor Tianlong thinks highly of him. Emperor Tianlong wants Long Teng to become a real dragon while keeping his human body. However, when Long Teng comes out, he'll be monstrously strong. If he manages to reach you with just one of his attacks, he'll easily destroy you. It seems like Tianlong Divine Castle wants to use my life to show how strong they are. Lin Feng smiled wryly. His way of seeing things were a bit too simple. Long Teng had a celestial dragon body and that battle would attract people from everywhere in Ba Huang. That battle wasn't only about Lin Feng and Long Teng, it was about Tiantai and Tianlong Divine Castle. Tianlong Divine Castle wouldn't allow Long Teng to lose. Tianlong Divine Castle hasn't had many geniuses recently, and now that Long Teng has appeared, they think have attached a lot of importance to him. All the other groups of influence are like that, but many others have more geniuses than just one. But, Tianlong Divine Castle just has Long Teng at the moment, said Emperor Yu. He apparently didn't think highly of Tianlong Divine Castle. Teacher, what about Tiantai? Asked Lin Feng, smiling. Within 50 years, Tiantai will amaze the entire province of Ba Huang, maybe even more, said Emperor Yu, smiling. He was confident because he had faith in Tiantai. There weren't many disciples in Tiantai, but the direct disciples, including Lin Feng and Ruo Xia, were terrifyingly strong. Are you confident you can win against Long Teng? Asked Emperor Yu. Lin Feng looked at him, smiled and nodded. He had to destroy Long Teng. Alright, when you are about to break through to the Zun Qi layer, I will help you modify your body too. I can't wait, said Emperor Yu smiling. Lin Feng had faith in his own abilities, so the Emperor did too. Even if Long Teng had a celestial dragon body, so what? Go back to your palace and practice cultivation hard, said the Emperor to Lin Feng. Lin Feng turned around and put his hand on the ancient tree again. He felt the pure qi flowing in its trunk. Lin Feng was then absorbed by the tree and appeared in the sky above Tiantai. Lin Feng immediately went to his palace and started practicing cultivation. A while after, the news spread that Qiu Yuxian had finished practicing cultivation this time. She had managed to break through to the Zun Qi layer. In less than a year, she had gone from the 7th Tian Qi layer to the Zun Qi layer. That was a meteoric progress. Everybody knew about her in the Ba Huang province now. Even more people were wondering if Qiu Yuxian had a special body or something particular to help her practice cultivation. What had happened to her? Had she discovered that she had a special body? At the same time, the news spread that Long Teng was about to break through to the Zun Qi layer. It was the last step before he'd have a real dragon body. Some people said that Tian Long Divine Castle was just showing off. Some others really believed that Long Teng had changed, otherwise, why would they have been so confident? At the same time, the news spread that Yi Ren Lei, one of the 10 strongest cultivators of the province, had practiced her Kamatadu, the 6 heavens of desire and passion skill to a crucial point. Yi Ren Lei might stop studying the 6 sexual desires. This news annoyed a lot of suitors. Who had told her to do that? She was one of the 4 most beautiful women in the province. In the southern part of Ba Huang, Fu He had left his mountain and was running towards the northern part of Ba Huang as if he had been chased by someone. Not far from Fu He, there was a Taoist monk who had the demeanor of a transcendent being. He shouted, "You're not bad, I just want to have you as my 381st disciple, that's all. It'd be a great honor for you." Fu He stumbled when he heard that and fell down from the sky. Chapter 12-13, Amazing Ba Huang. Countless strong cultivators from Ba Huang were going to the border between the western part of Ba Huang and the northern part of Ba Huang. The battle between the 2 young men from Tiantai and Tian Long Divine Castle would be a rising point for one of them. Although slow, the news spread that Lin Feng had also seen the diviner in Fortune City. The crowd guessed that maybe the diviner had told Lin Feng he'd become an emperor too, but they were just guessing. Only Lin Feng and those who were there knew what the diviner had told him. Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian had already become the most dazzling cultivators in the northern part of Ba Huang. Soon after, in the western part of Ba Huang, news spread that Long Teng had broken through to the Zun Qi layer and that 10 days later, he would meet Lin Feng on Qi Tian Shan Mountain to fight. Tiantai was particularly and strangely calm. Did Tiantai have no confidence? Did they think they were going to lose that battle? Lin Feng from Tiantai, with the strength of the 7th Tian Qi layer, had defeated a Zun cultivator from Tian Long Divine Castle and astonished everyone in the northern part of Ba Huang. 3 days after, many people had already arrived in Qi Tian Shan. Some of those people were riding dragon-driven carriages and they looked both majestic and domineering. Boom boom boom, the carriages arrived at the top of Qi Tian Shan's mountain. Dust flew around and rumbling sounds trembled in the ground. They looked like incredible warriors. Then, a carriage exploded and Long Teng appeared. Long Teng was wearing a red dragon robe and he looked particularly majestic and domineering. He was 7 days early, so he looked in Tiantai's direction. "In 7 days, I'll cut your head and stick it at the top of Qi Tian Shan's mountain," said Long Teng, whose voice spread all around in the region. He wanted to humiliate Tiantai with that sentence. Lin Feng wouldn't have the opportunity to become stronger, he was going to die. During those 7 days, a myriad of people arrived. Long Teng was sitting cross-legged, his qi kept changing. Now, he had the qi of a dragon. In the past, he used his physical strength to modify his body, but now he was much stronger and actually knew how to transform. He just had to roar once and he could make the ground shake violently. At that moment, Long Teng was at the top of the main mountain range in Chi Tian Shan. There were seats and one young man who looked particularly extraordinary appeared. Even though he looked extraordinary, his seat wasn't at the front or anything, he just stood there, looking ordinary. It was the most outstanding young man from the Sunset Pavilion, Bai Qiu Luo. Bai Qiu Luo has also broken through to the Zun Qi layer, thought many people amazed. After Fortune City, those who had seen the diviner were all becoming strong. In less than a year, many of the 10 strongest cultivators were already breaking through to the Zun Qi layer, which proved they weren't any weaker than Long Teng. Bai Qiu Luo practices 10,000 transformation abstruse energies. I wonder who's stronger between him and Long Teng, thought many people. Long Teng was rising, maybe he wasn't an exception, with his personality and aggressiveness, he was standing at the front. Tut, what about the girl with the celestial body and the one with the phoenix body? What about Jun Mo, she who had the imperial immortal body? Hadn't the list of the 10 strongest cultivators of the province changed? Qiu Yuxin is here too. She's so beautiful. The crowd saw a girl who was standing there looking indifferent, but very beautiful. Qiu Yuxin was even more beautiful now than in the past. As the rumors said, she had also broken through to the Zun Qi layer. Fu Hei is here too. One of the 10 strongest cultivators of the province. But Fu Hei didn't look happy, his face was extremely dark. A short time after Fu Hei arrived, a Taoist monk had bullied him, but then he stopped paying attention to Fu Hei and started paying attention to Long Teng instead. Little bastard, that guy has become strong, I wonder how strong you've become, thought the Taoist monk. Lin Feng couldn't be much weaker than Long Teng now, right? What a beautiful woman. I've never seen such a beautiful woman in my life, said someone gazing into the distance. There was a woman smiling in a resplendent way, making it difficult to look elsewhere. Yi Ren Lei, her Kamadhatu, the 6 heavens of desire and passion skill has become even stronger. We can't even look at her, otherwise, we'll go insane, thought some weaker cultivators. They couldn't stop looking at her though, one of the 4 most beautiful women of the province. So many strong cultivators came, even some of the 10 strongest cultivators of the province, thought the crowd amazed. So many people were interested in Long Teng. They didn't know that most of them hadn't come for Long Teng, but for Lin Feng because the diviner had predicted the best future for Lin Feng. How strong was he going to be? Such a great battle could also influence any of them. In a small village not far from Chi Tian Shan, people had their heads raised and were looking at the top of Chi Tian Shan's highest peak. There they could see the best, young disciple of Tian Long Divine Castle. Alone, he could easily destroy their village. Master, that's the strongest young man of Tian Long Divine Castle, right? Asked Yi Shui when she saw that aggressive-looking man in the horizon. They had been afraid that someone would come again, so they had been hiding the whole time. Thus, they hadn't heard much about the outside world. Recently, many strong cultivators had appeared not far from their village and they were terrified. Later, they had learnt that there would be a battle between the 2 most outstanding young men of Tian Long Divine Castle and Tian Tai. Very strong, he could easily destroy our village. It's a Zun cultivator, and a very strong one at that, said the master nodding. His opponent must be extremely strong too. It will be a genius from Tian Tai, I wonder if he looks as aggressive, said Yi Shui. Maybe he's a delicate young man instead, whispered the master. He had heard that Long Teng's opponent was called Lin Feng, of course, he couldn't be sure that it was the Lin Feng they knew. A delicate young man. Yi Shui laughed and said, how's that possible? Such strong young men can't be delicate, they must be extremely aggressive, brutal and violent like those people last time. Sigh, the master sighed, smiled and said, you forgot that the one who killed them was a delicate young man. Everybody couldn't wait to see the young man from Tian Tai arrive. The winner of that battle would amaze the whole province. In the distance, a sword soon arrived and it was moving towards Chi Tian Shan while emitting actual whistling sounds. Chapter 12-14, The Great Battle Against Long Teng. At the top of Chi Tian Shan, Long Teng suddenly opened his eyes. In the distance, thunders were emitting blasting sounds and a sword was whistling sharply. He's almost here. The crowd gazed into the distance. Lin Feng hadn't arrived, but they could already see sword energies dashing to the skies. Lin Feng was wearing a fur robe and he had an ancient sword on his back. He also looked calm. Behind him were his friends from Tiantai. That battle wasn't only between Lin Feng and Long Teng, it was between Tiantai and Tianlong Divine Castle, so obviously Tiantai's people came too. Long Teng's silhouette flickered and dodged the sharp sword energies. The crowd saw the gigantic sword stabbing the ground in the mountain, creating a large canyon. How terrifying, thought the crowd. 8th Tian Chi layer, he finally leveled up. Since Fortune City, Lin Feng had only leveled up once. Qiu Yuexan looked at him, she shivered, but quickly calmed down again as if all this had nothing to do with her. Yi Renlei smiled in a resplendent way when she saw Lin Feng. She had heard that Lin Feng only had the strength of the 7th Tian Chi layer when he had challenged Long Teng. Now that he had broken through to the 8th Tian Chi layer, would he be able to defeat him? In the small village, many people raised their heads and saw Lin Feng. The opponent of the strongest young man from Tianlong Divine Castle was Lin Feng. That was Lin Feng who had spent entire days with them, the calm and serene young man. "Uncle Lin," said Xiao Chen when he saw Lin Feng. He started running, but the master grabbed him and said, "Little friend, it will be a great and terrifying battle, so you can't get near. Besides, it is extremely far away, you wouldn't be able to make it there." "Master, can Uncle Lin defeat that bad guy?" asked Xiao Chen. "He can, Lin Feng is very strong," said Yi Shui before the master had time to reply. She was nervous. That young and delicate young man was the best young disciple of Tiantai. 8th Tian Chi layer, finally, you came to die, said Long Teng. Humph. Lin Feng remained silent. Today I will kill you, and on another day, I'll kill all the disciples from Tiantai, said Long Teng. His eyes were bloodshot. He looked like a greedy dragon who wanted to eat Lin Feng alive. Long Teng descended from the sky and landed inside the canyon that Lin Feng's sword had dug. He roared fiercely like a dragon, then he raised his hand and picked up a gigantic piece of the mountain. Long Teng's physical body is now terrifying, thought the crowd. Their hearts were racing and they were nervous. Long Teng then threw that piece of mountain at Lin Feng. Humph. Lin Feng moved forwards, he didn't try to avoid that piece of mountain. Lin Feng's heart was as calm as water, he was in symbiosis with the earth. Rumbling sounds spread in the air and around Lin Feng, an infinite amount of sword energies appeared. Dazzling swords appeared which fusing together with pure sunfire. Humph. Lin Feng took another step and the infinite number of sword energies followed him. He then ran towards Long Teng. Die, shouted Long Teng furiously. His bestial chi dashed to the skies. The piece of mountain moved towards Lin Feng's sword energies and the sword energies quickly reduced the piece of mountain into pieces, but some pieces were still quite large and were still moving towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng jumped again, the ground shook and thunders emitted blasting sounds. He raised his fist and punched the pieces of mountain moving towards him. Those mountain pieces exploded with each punch. At the same time, Long Teng raised his fist and jumped towards Lin Feng. Roar, it was as if an ancient dragon had thrown itself at Lin Feng. Long Teng appeared in front of Lin Feng and stretched his dragon-scaled hand out towards him. Lin Feng had the impression that 1,000,000 tons of energy were crashing on him. It was as if Long Teng wanted to crush Lin Feng relying solely on his physical strength. Lin Feng was fearless as purple thunders invaded the sky. Then he too punched the air in Long Teng's direction. Lin Feng moved like the wind. He looked calm to everyone else, but he was thinking that Long Teng's physical strength had become incredible. Even though he used thunderous energies to increase his physical strength, he still had a ways to go before being as strong as Long Teng in terms of physical strength. But Long Teng's arm shook when he collided against Lin Feng. Even though Lin Feng wasn't as strong as him in terms of physical strength, he also had abstruse energies which he had condensed in his fists. Even though he had only broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer, he was terrifying as well. If he didn't kill Lin Feng now, Lin Feng would become too strong for him to deal with in the future. I'm now a Zun cultivator, I condense my blood and can now transform it into its own abstruse energies. It can take a myriad of forms, so how do you intend to fight me? Said Long Teng aggressively. He was wearing his dragon armor, coupled with his powerful physical body. His dragon armor was even better than a low-level holy amour. Lin Feng shook his hand and condensed a sword. Then, sword energies whistled and dashed to the skies. His sword in his hand seemed like it could destroy the heavens. Long Teng punched the air in front of him again. Wind and thunder attack. A sword appeared in Lin Feng's hand, the sounds it emitted were the same sounds that wind and thunder emitted. It collided with Long Teng's hand and a terrifying explosion sounded. Long Teng's arm didn't feel like a human hand anymore, it was solid like stone, or something more dense than stone even. Destroy, shouted Long Teng furiously. His dragon claws moved forwards this time. Lin Feng's sword streaked across the sky with an incredible speed. Blasting sounds resonated and all the dragon claws broke. Boom boom boom, the dragon arm continued falling from the sky and Lin Feng could sense the oppressive energies. Desolate Xana, said Lin Feng. He started releasing dazzling and deadly sword energies. Slash, slash, sharp sounds appeared, along with a wound in the dragon arm. Long Teng's blood was boiling. Long Teng's face turned deathly pale, but he continued releasing fierce and dense energies. He shook his arm and a powerful blood strength started circulating. In a flash, his wound had healed. Bestial blood ebullition, his blood started boiling and rising. Long Teng looked even more like an animal, dragon scales gradually appeared everywhere on his body. Roar, he opened his mouth, raised his head and roared loudly. His head looked like the head of a dragon now. The earth was shaking, craters were appearing in the ground, and a terrifying strength had surrounded Lin Feng's body. But, Lin Feng destroyed those pieces of rock with his sword. A red strength emerged and turned into a cage, which moved towards Lin Feng. Nirvana Sunya destruction. Lin Feng cut through the cage instantly. It couldn't imprison Lin Feng. Long Teng landed again and punched the air in Lin Feng's direction. Lin Feng shouted furiously and lacerated the air in Long Teng's direction with his sword. Long Teng blocked the sword with his arms, but wounds appeared. Roar! Long Teng shouted furiously, making Lin Feng tremble. A terrifying red strength moved again towards Lin Feng, this time it was as if a gigantic dragon who wanted to eat Lin Feng. Long Teng's spirit had now fused together with his blood strength, it wasn't a spirit which emerged from his back like before. Die, shouted Lin Feng. He unsheathed his dazzling Tianji sword, which then streaked across the sky and moved towards the dragon's mouth. Chapter 12-15, Dragon shapes / destructive purple thunders engulfed the sky and then powerful lightning struck the dragon's mouth. The dragon's mouth exploded and turned to void. Lin Feng's Tianji sword seemed like it could cut through anything like it was cutting through butter. It continued moving towards Long Teng while releasing purple lighting at him. Long Teng's face became rigid. How come that sword was so powerful? Round dragon shield, shouted Long Teng furiously. An ancient shield appeared in front of him and there was an ancient dragon drawn on it. Crackling and explosions sounded in the air. The Tianji sword crashed onto the shield and stopped, however, it continued releasing energies which pushed the shield back. Long Teng firmly held his shield, but he looked exhausted, his face was turning deathly pale. You have such a strong physical body, surprisingly, Tianlong Divine Castle also gave you a high-level holy weapon. Were they that scared that I could hurt you? Lin Feng's Tianji sword was floating above him. With the round dragon shield, Tianlong Divine Castle proved that they were not that confident that Long Teng could easily defeat Lin Feng. Long Teng's physical strength was already astonishing, and with that shield, they were almost certain that Long Teng wouldn't die. Lin Feng stretched out his hand and grabbed his Tianji sword. Sword chi condensed and then dashed to the skies. Lin Feng continued moving forwards. The ground was shaking with each step he took. "No matter what holy weapon you possess, I will kill you today," said Lin Feng coldly. His sword seemed like it was dancing in the sky. Thunderous energies were rolling in waves. It seemed like those sword lights could destroy mountains and even oceans. It descended from the sky towards Long Teng's shield. Suddenly, it was as if the round dragon shield had come to life. It rose up towards the sword lights to block them. Rumbling sounds spread in the air and the crowd heard a dragon chant. Long Teng's arm felt numb. However, at that moment, an incredibly sharp chi surrounded Long Teng. Lin Feng was moving like the wind as he released more sword chi and used his desolate Xana skill to annihilate everything in his path. The Tianji sword was alive and possessed multiple souls. His desolate Xana skill was much more powerful with his Tianji sword in hand than when he did it without. Arg! Lin Feng's sword descended from the sky. Dragon illusions moved to block it, but the sword destroyed everything in its path. Long Teng's arm grew larger as he moved his fist towards the sword lights to block it, but blood splashed. Long Teng's entire body crackled and his real arm appeared. He was seriously wounded. Long Teng immediately used his blood strength to heal. Lin Feng didn't give him much time to recover though. He used his desolate Xana skill again. Long Teng's round dragon shield was extremely solid, it was as if a real dragon was imbued inside it. However, Lin Feng's desolate Xana skill also seemed indestructible for it had the same power as a high-level holy weapon. Long Teng coughed. Lin Feng's Tianji sword had wounded his spirit, which was now a part of his blood strength. His soul had been injured too. He couldn't completely heal and fight at the same time. Kacha! Terrifying thunders blasted, Long Teng sensed thunderous energies piercing through his round dragon shield and moving towards him. Then, the lightning struck him and he felt paralyzed. "Blood transformation, bestial metamorphosis," shouted Long Teng whose eyes were almost completely red now. He released blood chi which dashed to the skies. Long Teng was turning into a red dragon and now, two dragons were staring down at Lin Feng, the round dragon shield and Long Teng. If the list of the 10 strongest cultivators doesn't change, Long Teng will surely become one of them, thought the crowd. Long Teng had already changed a lot, in fact, he was completely different than before. If Long Teng hadn't changed, then Lin Feng would have killed him in one sword strike. "Nothing will happen to Uncle Lin Feng," said Xiao Chen in the small village. He looked nervous. Uncle Lin Feng was fighting against a dragon. "He will be fine." "That's not a real dragon, that's just a transformation," said Yi Shui who understood a little about cultivation. Long Teng had successfully transformed into a dragon and he was holding his round dragon shield in front of him. He looked at Lin Feng in a disdainful way and said, "I will crush you to mush and eat you." Lin Feng's Tianji sword stabbed the ground, Lin Feng raised his head and looked at the dragon. After composing himself, he took out his sword from the ground and slowly walked forwards. The dragon was looking at Lin Feng in a despising way, but Lin Feng looked calm. Long Teng suddenly felt cold. "I have a dragon body, my blood abstruse energies and my absorbing abstruse energies fuse together with it. Even if you're strong, you don't stand a chance. I'll eat you alive when I'm done with you," said Long Teng. Then, he roared and threw himself at Lin Feng again. Blood-red lights illuminated the area and Lin Feng could feel just how incredibly oppressive they were. "He's going to eat Lin Feng alive, I can sense the energies," thought the crowd shivering. Long Teng had turned into a dragon and wanted to eat Lin Feng alive like an animal. At that moment, the crowd couldn't see Lin Feng anymore for he was enveloped in those red lights. Lin Feng stopped and raised his head. Sword lights emerged from his eyes which seemed like they could pierce through anything. The dragon's eyes suddenly felt sore. "I will cut your head and spit it out," said Longting ferociously. Lin Feng was wrapped up in his blood energies now. "Is that so?" whispered Lin Feng. He put his sword in the ground again and said coldly, "Desolate explosion." Slash, slash, in a flash, the ground started crackling, thunderous energies invaded the skies, fire and destructive desolate energies came from below. They fused together in Lin Feng's sword and moved in all directions. Slash, those bloodlights slowly cracked. If anyone could see the dragon's eyes right then, they would know that he was in pain. "Die!" shouted Longting furiously. Blood energies moved ahead, but Lin Feng still looked calm and serene. Longting didn't feel safe when Lin Feng looked that way. "Empty space bestial illusion technique," said Lin Feng. Empty space energy surrounded them, sealing both of them inside. Longting was surprised. Lin Feng had confined both of them inside an empty space. Was he that confident that he could kill him? "Frenzy!" shouted Longting. At the same time, Lin Feng said, "Blood curse." At that moment, Longting was petrified. His dragon blood became cursed as it gradually dried up and corroded. Lin Feng wasn't controlling his Tianji sword anymore, it was releasing its desolate energies on its own, unceasingly. Coupled with the cursing energies, the dragon body was starting to crack under the pressure. "No." Arg, Longting started shaking violently. How come? How could Lin Feng curse his blood so effectively? Lin Feng raised his head, he looked calm and serene. Longting's facial muscles twitched as if he understood what Lin Feng wanted to do. Lin Feng said coldly, "Even though my sword attacks are extremely powerful, I am not just an expert at using swords. I told you, that today, even though you've broken through to the Zun Qi layer, I will kill you." Lin Feng grabbed his Tianji sword again and jumped towards the dragon's head. "No!" shouted Longting hoarsely. A wound appeared on Longting's throat and blood spilled out. Lin Feng rose up in the air, this time he wanted to destroy Longting. Slash, however, at that moment, form in the dragon's third eye, a dazzling light appeared and moved towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng ran back as fast as he could. Godly Awareness Palace. Lights emerged from Lin Feng's third eye. Lin Feng sensed a terrifying strength crash onto his Godly Awareness Palace, making seem like it was going to break. Boom! Rumbling sounds spread in the air again. Lin Feng sensed someone else's Godly Awareness along with Longting's. Someone had attacked at the most crucial moment. Bastard! Lin Feng sensed his soul shake violently. Tianlong Divine Castle was so shameless. They interfered to help Longting. They wouldn't let Longting die. Chapter 12-16, Chiu Yuxian's battle. Lin Feng's godly awareness was extremely powerful and he had learned how to use the Godly Awareness Palace. That kind of strength was enigmatic. If his godly awareness hadn't been so strong, he would have died instantly. Bzzz. Lin Feng moved back in his empty space bestial illusion technique and he recalled his Godly Awareness Palace to protect his third eye. If his godly awareness broke, he would die. Longting was lying on the ground, Lin Feng's attack had still hit his body somewhat. He was soaked with blood and his body was riddled with gaping wounds. He had almost died. Longting lost, the crowd was astonished. They looked at Lin Feng, the winner. He had killed Xian Yuan, he had killed a Zun cultivator from Tianlong Divine Castle, and now he had defeated Longting. Nobody could prevent him from rising, including Longting. What a beast, thought the crowd. If one of the strongest cultivators of the province had killed Longting, they wouldn't have been that surprised, but because it was Lin Feng they were besides themselves in amazement. Longting had a dragon body and had just broken through to the Zun Qi layer. What about Lin Feng? He had just broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer. What if they had been of the same level? What if Lin Feng had been a Zun cultivator as well? What it meant was there was a huge difference between Lin Feng and Long Teng. Lin Feng would probably astonish the entire province a few years later. What about the great oriental greenfinch rock? What about Kong Ming the Buddhist monk? What about Yi Ren Lei from the Heavens of Desire's palace? Even though Long Teng had lost, Lin Feng hadn't managed to kill him. It was as if he had been pushed away. Golden dragon claws appeared and moved towards Lin Feng. They were dazzling. Lin Feng raised his sword, but the dragon claws seemed alive. It passed next to Lin Feng and quickly circled around towards his third eye. The dragon claws were so fast that the crowd couldn't even see them clearly. The crowd was surprised. That wasn't energy. If it had been energy, Lin Feng would have died already. That was godly awareness. Tianlong Divine Castle, those bastards, thought the crowd. They understood what was happening. That couldn't be Long Teng's godly awareness. Long Teng's cultivation level was slightly higher than Lin Feng's, but he couldn't compete in terms of godly awareness. That was thus the godly awareness of a strong cultivator from Tianlong Divine Castle. He was using his godly awareness to protect Long Teng, and on top of that, he was trying to kill Lin Feng. His godly awareness was as fast as lightning. Lin Feng condensed sword energies in his hand and performed a hand knife strike to block it, but it didn't work. The godly awareness pierced through and moved towards his third eye. Lin Feng released his godly awareness palace again. He was petrified of the results. Explosions sounded. The crowd was astonished. Not only did Tianlong Divine Castle want to protect Tianlong, but they also wanted to kill him. Bzzz, bzzz, silhouettes flickered. When Tiantai's people saw what was going on, they came out and rose up in the air towards the summit of Chi Tian Shan Mountain. The leader of the group was Ruo Xia, and he was releasing terrifying desolate energies. However, at the same time, the strong cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle also moved and rose up in the air. Ruo Xia took out a talisman and he wanted to break it. He knew it was getting dangerous, but the problem was that the people he wanted to call were too far away. They'd have to hold out for them to arrive. I can't stand seeing this anymore. A Taoist monk moved towards Lin Feng. People were fighting on his sides and the mountain was crumbling apart. The Taoist monk didn't stop the battle, however. He suddenly turned around and released fire energies to attack someone by surprise. That person's body was hit by the fire and his organs exploded. He had tried to block the attack, but someone from Tiantai punched his head and it exploded too. Good heavens! The Tiantai monk had the demeanor of a transcendent being, as if nothing had happened. Tiantai's Zun cultivators looked surprised. Fu Hei's mouth twitched. He was evil himself, but that Taoist monk seemed even sleer than him sometimes. Cheong Qi considered himself a great emperor, so those people were nothing for Hai. With that mindset, he didn't mind being cruel. Yi Ren Lei smiled in a resplendent way. She was always smiling. Tianlong Divine Castle is doomed and Tiantai will rise. A terrifying group of influence is going to disappear, whispered Yi Ren Lei. That battle had attracted people from everywhere. The fact that strong cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle had not only tried to help Long Teng, but had also tried to kill Lin Feng proved that they didn't have many other geniuses. Otherwise, they wouldn't have resorted to such despicable means. Chiu Yuxian was on another peak watching, but as soon as she saw trouble, she threw herself towards Lin Feng. Many people were moving towards him, both wanting to kill and help him. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged, condensing his godly awareness in his consciousness. His godly awareness palace was protecting him from the dragon claw's godly awareness which kept attacking him. His godly awareness palace seemed like it was going to break, however, Lin Feng managed to heal it back again and again. The Sky Palace, what's the date tonight? Lin Feng used his soul strength and his surplus soul's technique to fix his godly awareness palace. He couldn't die now. Lin Feng secretly thanked Cheong Qi in his head. He had taught him the godly awareness palace, so he had indirectly saved his life. The one who was attacking Lin Feng with his godly awareness was probably a medium or high-level Zun cultivator. Lin Feng's head kept shaking violently. He had the feeling he wouldn't be able to hold much longer. A terrifying strength emerged and moved towards Lin Feng. However, at that same moment, Qiu Yuxian arrived and blocked the attack. "Die!" shouted that strong cultivator, throwing himself at Qiu Yuxian. That girl had just broken through to the Zun Qi layer and thought she could compete with him. She was insane. Qiu Yuxian punched the air in his direction and pale lights appeared, shining down on the Zun cultivator's body. He felt petrified, as if he was going to freeze. Qiu Yuxian's energies were piercingly cold. Ice-cold, merciless energies. The Zun cultivator was surprised. He had broken through to the Zun Qi layer for 7-8 years already, and those energies were still quite powerful, enough so that he could barely move. His blood slowly stopped flowing. Then he saw a moon. That cold crescent moon descended from the sky and moved towards him. He dodged, but suddenly, he was petrified. Blood slowly started trickling out of his third eye. One strike and he was dead. It seems like it was true. Qiu Yuxian must have a special body which was awakened when she was in Fortune City, thought the crowd. Two geniuses had appeared in the northern part of Ba Huang. Well, at least, if Lin Feng didn't die, that is. Chapter 12-17. By Qiu Luo. At the top of the mountain, even more strong cultivators were appearing. The crowd in the surroundings were amazed by all those strong cultivators. Qiu Yuxian landed in front of Lin Feng and fought off a few Zun cultivators. At the same time, Qiu Yuxian also arrived and whispered, "Little girl, I'm going to attack the godly awareness that's killing Lin Feng, help me by watching my back." Qiong Qi then moved in front of Lin Feng and opened his third eye. A golden light moved into Lin Feng's godly awareness. The dragon godly awareness was bombarded Lin Feng's godly awareness palace even faster, but Lin Feng's godly awareness palace was still holding up. Along with the golden, fire godly awareness, a voice rang in Lin Feng's head, "Little bastard, be thankful. If I hadn't taught you how to use the godly awareness palace, you'd be dead already. But those bastards from Tianlong Divine Castle also attacked you, how cruel," said Qiong Qi as if he was in the mood to chat. The golden fire godly awareness then protected Lin Feng's godly awareness. It flew throughout Lin Feng's consciousness to protect every side of his godly awareness. "Who are you?" said a voice furiously. "I'm the Flame Emperor Yan Di," said Qiong Qi. Boom boom, the dragon claws grabbed the golden fire godly awareness head-on, but Qiong Qi's godly awareness was very resilient. "Now that you know my secret, do you think I will let you off?" "You're too optimistic," said Qiong Qi arrogantly. A thread of godly awareness emerged. Qiong Qi had to destroy the enemy's godly awareness and then he would never know what had happened. "You're not from Tiantai, why attack? You'll die," said the owner of the godly awareness in a cold way. Qiong Qi laughed coldly and said, "You're ridiculous. Just die." Boom, terrifying flames burnt and a horrible shriek spread in their consciousness. Then Qiong Qi said, "You dared confront me, you will die tragically for your sins." Bzzz, the golden claw's godly awareness fell apart and turned to ashes. Qiong Qi thought it was cruel that a Zun cultivator had helped Long Tang and attacked Lin Feng. "But lucky for you, I appeared. I'm such a peerless cultivator, I'm a hero," said Qiong Qi satisfied. He didn't know that Qiu Yuxian was blocking 3 Zun cultivators at that moment. While Qiong Qi was still fighting against that godly awareness, a silhouette landed at the top of the mountain. Many people noticed him because that person was extremely famous. He was even more famous than Lin Feng or Long Teng. He was one of the 10 strongest cultivators of Ba Huang province, by Qiu Luo. However, that person was neither from Tiantai nor from Tianlong Divine Castle, so what was he doing there? Was he going to take advantage of the situation? Fu Hei and Yi Renlei also looked at Bai Qiu Luo. They were also amongst the 10 strongest cultivators of Ba Huang, so they were surprised to see him there. Bai Qiu Luo walked towards Long Teng, slowly. Nobody prevented him from doing so either. Everybody was fighting and Long Teng was healing. Lin Feng had injured him and cursed him, so he was half dead already. A sword appeared in Bai Qiu Luo's hand, it was both sharp and dazzling. What is he doing? As if Long Teng had sensed something, he opened his eyes and saw that ice-cold-looking sword. Bai Qiu Luo, said Long Teng smiling in a resplendent way. That smile was filled with murder, it looked hideous and evil. There are no tensions between the Sunset Pavilion and Tianlong Divine Castle, do you want to cause tensions between our two groups? Shouted Long Teng furiously. Bai Qiu Luo raised his sword and pressed it against Long Teng's throat. Slash, blood splashed. Bai Qiu Luo smiled with a resplendent, yet strangely evil smile. Long Teng's head flew away and rolled on the ground. Bai Qiu Luo had beheaded him. Phew, the crowd was astonished. Long Teng from Tianlong Divine Castle, who had a celestial dragon body, had died in such a tragic way. Tianlong Divine Castle's people were just as surprised. They had protected Long Teng, they had even prevented Lin Feng from killing him, and now he was dead. Bai Qiu Luo took Long Teng's items, his round dragon shield and his ring. Then, he looked at Lin Feng and Xiong Qi. Is Bai Qiu Luo going to kill Lin Feng as well? Thought the crowd. What was the Sunset Pavilion doing? Slash, Bai Qiu Luo took out his sword again. It streaked across the sky towards Lin Feng. As the crowd had expected, after killing Long Teng, Bai Qiu Luo wanted to kill Lin Feng. Was he insane? Was the Sunset Pavilion going insane? Empty space bestial illusion technique. Lin Feng uttered in a weakened voice. Suddenly, Xiong Qi and Lin Feng were hidden away in the empty space illusion. Open space, said Bai Qiu Luo raising his sword. The lights it diffused looked like the Milky Way, like a waterfall of stars. Strength condensed and cracks appeared in the empty space. The empty space soon disappeared and Bai Qiu Luo continued moving towards Lin Feng, smiling in a resplendent way. Lin Feng suddenly remembered what the diviner had told Bai Qiu Luo. What he had meant by change for Bai Qiu Luo was to kill people to have the advantage. After breaking the empty space, Bai Qiu Luo smiled and slowly walked towards Lin Feng. He then said in a cold manner, illusion. Then, Lin Feng realized that he had appeared in the same empty space as Bai Qiu Luo. The others had disappeared, not even Xiong Qi was there with them. Bai Qiu Luo wanted to kill anyone who could stand in his way in the future. Lin Feng was seated as before. Even though he hadn't died from the Zun cultivator's godly awareness, his godly awareness had been injured. He still felt dizzy and his head felt heavy. His soul was even shaking. Die, said Bai Qiu Luo raising his sword. Slash, sword energies appeared and at the same time, Bai Qiu Luo opened his third eye, releasing a small dazzling sword. He knew that Lin Feng's godly awareness was injured, so he wanted to weaken Lin Feng even more or maybe kill him by finishing off his godly awareness. Lin Feng released his godly awareness palace again. Bai Qiu Luo condensed his godly awareness and his qi, causing Lin Feng's godly awareness palace to shake violently. At the same time, Bai Qiu Luo raised his hand and his sharp sword turned golden. Chapter 12:18, Mercilessness. Bai Qiu Luo's sword was fast, and besides, Lin Feng was hallucinating. He had the feeling he was going to die if he stopped concentrating for even a second. It was enough to make him feel like giving up. Die. Lin Feng grinded his teeth and moved back. He took out his Tianji sword and dazzling thunders appeared, surrounding Bai Qiu Luo. He also released some desolate abstruse energies. Bzzz. Bai Qiu Luo moved like the wind and gracefully. He dodged the Tianji sword and continued moving towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng noticed that the sword was less threatening when Bai Qiu Luo began running so fast. It collided against the Tianji sword and Bai Qiu Luo had a cold, yet strange smile. He shook his hand and his sword moved again, this time it looked like a star. Lin Feng's soul shook. Bai Qiu Luo was getting even closer to him now. Assassin. Lin Feng felt like he was facing an assassin. Was Bai Qiu Luo from the Imperial Assassin Union? What was the Sunset Pavilion then? Was it the main branch of the Imperial Assassin Union? If that was the case, that was terrifying. If Bai Qiu Luo was working for the Imperial Assassin Union and he continues to excel, will he become the future leader of the Sunset Pavilion? How would he lead them in the future then? Besides, if Bai Qiu Luo was an assassin working for the Imperial Assassin Union, were there other outstanding young people working for them? Or some strong Zun cultivators? The 7 assassins, remembered Lin Feng suddenly. In Fortune City, he had met the 7th assassin. That person was very strong. If Lin Feng was right, maybe then Bai Qiu Luo was one of the 7 assassins. Lin Feng was thinking about those things, but not too much, for he was still under attack. Everlasting Ksana. Lin Feng suddenly disappeared and entered another empty space. Bai Qiu Luo's sword swung and hit nothing because Lin Feng disappeared at the last moment. Back in Fortune City, Lin Feng had managed to take the robe in the empty space area, and it was called the Ksana Empty Space Robe. However, even with the help of that robe, Lin Feng could only enter another space for a few seconds. It was efficient enough to desperately dodge attacks, but he would reappear quickly. However, when he reappeared, he immediately released Desolate Qi and Bai Qiu Luo couldn't dodge. Die! Lin Feng uttered as loud as he could. He released Empty Space and Desolate Abstruse Energies. However, Bai Qiu Luo's body became dazzling and golden. It looked like a dazzling golden armor had appeared with abstruse energies which kept changing. Slash! The golden armor crackled and Bai Qiu Luo was propelled backwards. His body had even started decaying. Freeze! Bai Qiu Luo put his hand on his wound and sealed it. He glanced at Lin Feng in a cold way. He still hadn't managed to kill Lin Feng. Boom boom. Finally, the illusion broke. Bai Qiu Luo was again upset. It hadn't lasted long. He recalled his godly awareness and turned into an illusion. Then, Lin Feng saw many silhouettes appear, including Qiu Yuxian. Be careful, shouted Lin Feng. Qiu Yuxian was fighting against a Zun cultivator and Bai Qiu Luo had thrown himself at her. Die! The Zun cultivator wanted to join hands with Bai Qiu Luo and attack Qiu Yuxian together. However, Qiu Yuxian didn't try to dodge. She jumped into their energies. Slash! Sword energies pierced through Qiu Yuxian's body as well as the strong cultivator in front of her. Bai Qiu Luo was surprised too. What was Qiu Yuxian doing? Even Bai Qiu Luo had sensed how terrifying those sword energies were. Qiu Yuxian turned around and took out the sword which had stabbed her, throwing it away. A moon appeared in the sky and shined upon her body. The path of mercilessness. Bai Qiu Luo moved back as fast as she could. The sword again moved towards Bai Qiu Luo. His body turned golden, but blood had appeared. At the same time, he sensed energies coming from behind him. Bzzz. Bai Qiu Luo rose up in the air as quickly as possible. However, the Tianji sword emitted whistling sounds and pierced through him. Thick earth shield. A shield appeared in front of Bai Qiu Luo and 8 patterns appeared on it. It was a powerful defensive technique, making that shield look indestructible. The Tianji sword crashed into it and the shield broke. Bai Qiu Luo was propelled backwards as he then shouted, "Go!" Many people rose up in the air and protected Bai Qiu Luo. Then, their silhouettes flickered and they started leaving. Those people had attacked the people from Tiantai who came to protect Lin Feng. Many people thought that those people were from Tianlong Divine Castle, but surprisingly, they were with Bai Qiu Luo. At the same time, at the top of the mountain, Yiren Lei was observing the scene with a complex expression. So many questions. Who were those people? If they were from the Sunset Pavilion, did they not mind offending Tiantai and Tianlong Divine Castle? Something's wrong. If the one who had attacked Lin Feng could have killed him, he would have just needed to block Tiantai's people and Lin Feng would have died, then he could have let Tiantai's people get involved and Long Teng would have died too. They wouldn't have needed to get involved at all that way. And then a great conflict would have started between Tiantai and Tianlong Divine Castle, thought Yiren Lei. The Sunset Pavilion could have used two influential groups to do what they wanted, but that godly awareness hadn't killed Lin Feng, so why did Bai Qiu Luo attack personally? Of course, the Sunset Pavilion didn't need to fear anyone because Tianlong Divine Castle and Tiantai were already enemies. They wouldn't ever join hands to fight them together. But still, it made the Sunset Pavilion look bad. What had happened, really? If she had seen what had happened in the illusion, she would have thought that the Imperial Assassin Union was involved. Tianlong Divine Castle and Tiantai didn't chase those people from the Sunset Pavilion. Tiantai's people were protecting Lin Feng and Tianlong Divine Castle's people could attack him again at any time. Tianlong Divine Castle's people looked at Long Teng's corpse. They let Long Teng practice in the mysterious area of Tianlong Divine Castle and now he was dead. The Zun cultivator who had helped Long Teng was also dead. Let's go, said the strong cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle. They didn't pay any attention to Long Teng's corpse anymore. They had taken such great efforts for that one individual, and yet, Lin Feng was still alive. Lin Feng walked to Qiu Yuxian, he wanted to hug her, but Qiu Yuxian took a step back. She looked at him as if she was looking at a stranger. Yuxian, I have some holy water, said Lin Feng taking out the tear stain from the source of life. No, thanks, said Qiu Yuxian indifferently. Her silhouette flickered and she left. She used her own pure qi to heal her wounds. Lin Feng was petrified. Qiu Yuxian had broken through to the Zun qi layer and now, it seemed like she had changed. It was as if she was a new person, a stranger to him now. Everybody, you can go back. I'll be fine, said Lin Feng. Even though he felt dizzy and was injured, he decided to follow Qiu Yuxian. He wanted to know why she had changed and was acting so strangely. Chapter 12:19, Chasing over a long distance very quickly, everybody left. Tiantai's people also left. They weren't worried about Lin Feng. Mu Chen and the others had anticipated this outcome, so they hadn't come personally. They actually had faith in their younger disciples. Tianlong Divine Castle, Tiantai, the Sunset Pavilion, the northern part of Ba Huang and the western part of Ba Huang, those places won't remain calm for long, thought Yiren Lei. Then, her silhouette flickered and she left. Tiantai had good reasons for being involved. High-level Zun cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle had attacked, and now, only the emperors hadn't shown themselves. A few days later, the news spread throughout the northern part of Ba Huang and the western part of Ba Huang. Everybody knew that Lin Feng had defeated Long Teng, but that the strong cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle had plotted against Lin Feng and had tried to kill him in a shameless way. Everybody also knew that Bai Qiu Luo had been involved and had killed Long Teng in the end. There were two incredible young cultivators that everybody was talking about and they were in a desolate mountain at that moment. There were small villages, forests, deep and dark forests. Lin Feng had chased Qiu Yuxian for a few days already. Finally, she stopped but she entered a cave and started healing herself. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged next to her and condensed his godly awareness. Back on that day, Lin Feng's godly awareness palace had been broken and he hadn't felt well since. Golden threads spiderwebbed throughout his consciousness, fixing his godly awareness palace. He fixed it according to what Qiong Qi had taught him, causing marks to appear. That wasn't something Lin Feng would stop studying, he had to improve that technique until his godly awareness palace became perfect. But Lin Feng wasn't in a hurry because his attacks were powerful and he could already resist Zun cultivators. Later that night, the moon shone upon Qiu Yuxian's body at the entrance of the cave. Threads of qi emerged from Qiu Yuxian's body. She was expelling the sword qi left in her body from Bai Qiu Luo's attack. At her level, she couldn't afford being injured so badly too often. Bai Qiu Luo's attack was so powerful that it had stuck to her body and started corroding it. If she hadn't frozen it, she would have died already. Lin Feng opened his eyes when he sensed those energies. The moon was still shining down on them. Qiu Yuxian stood up and looked at him. She looked confused. What happened? Asked Lin Feng walking towards her. Qiu Yuxian looked elsewhere. She didn't look at him. Eventually she said, nothing. Leave now. Qiu Yuxian then looked up at the moon. What happened? Why are you so cold to me? Insisted Lin Feng while walking closer to her. Is there anything going on between you and I? Asked Qiu Yuxian turning to Lin Feng. Then, she continued, there's nothing between you and I. You have a wife and you have your own life. I am from the Qiu clan, so what do you want me to be for you? Your concubine or your sex slave? Lin Feng's body became cold when he heard her say that. Why did you help me in Qi Tian Shan if you were thinking that way? Asked Lin Feng. You fought against Long Teng because of me. I am now walking on the path of mercilessness, so I want to put distance between us. I don't want to have any feelings for you. Therefore, don't stay with me. Go. I don't want to see you ever again. Qiu Yuxian said in a cold way. Lin Feng looked at her and sighed, please take good care of yourself. Then, his sword appeared, he turned around and disappeared into the distance. Qiu Yuxian watched as Lin Feng left. Finally, tears appeared in her eyes, her heart was shattered into 1,000 pieces. Why choose me? You're having feelings again. You forgot that he has a wife, and not only that, but he wants you to be his concubine or his sex slave. Go and look how he acts with his main wife, he's in love. You don't exist in his heart, said a ghost-like voice in the darkness. You're lying. I don't believe you. Why would he have come to the Qiu clan and killed all those people if he didn't love me? Why would he have challenged Long Teng to a battle? Don't be stupid. If he loved you, he wouldn't have left because of a few words you said a moment ago. Is that so? No matter what you say, I'm telling you, I won't give up. Even if he doesn't love me, I don't want to practice mercilessness cultivation anymore. I give up. Don't place any more hope in me, said Qiu Yuxian. You forgot that if you stop practicing mercilessness cultivation, I will use your hands to kill him. If I do that, it won't be me, it will be you. People will think that Qiu Yuxian killed him. That voice resonated in Qiu Yuxian's heart. She started shaking as if she had thought about something. She didn't look cold, she looked hopeless and sad, like a helpless girl. She sat down and put her head in her hands. Then, she started crying. Why? Why had things become that way? Why was an evil voice following her? Why was she gradually becoming merciless and emotionless? I was wrong. If I hadn't been jealous when I saw you and your wife, I wouldn't have become like that and I wouldn't have practiced such skills. Why did you do that to me? Thought Qiu Yuxian while crying. Just let it go. Listen to me. You'll become a peerless cultivator. You'll become the strongest cultivator in Ba Huang, said that voice temptingly. Without emotions, what would it bring me to be the best cultivator in Ba Huang? Whispered Qiu Yuxian. No. At that moment, Qiu Yuxian quickly stood up, her facial expression looked menacing. Who said that would be meaningless? If I become extremely strong, the strongest in Ba Huang, I'll be able to kill all his enemies, right? I'll use mercilessness cultivation to kill all his enemies. Then, Qiu Yuxian's silhouette flickered as she rose up in the air, took out her boat and left. 3 days later, in the western part of Ba Huang, people learnt that a dozen people from Tianlong Divine Castle had been killed, but people weren't too surprised. However, 5 days later, people learnt that 3 other Zun cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle had been killed. Even then, people figured that those people were probably weak. 10 days later, in the western part of Ba Huang, there was even more news. 68 people from Tianlong Divine Castle had been killed. People started wondering, who was killing them? Tiantai. 15 days later, in the western part of Ba Huang, more news again. This time it had nothing to do with Tianlong Divine Castle, but with another influential group, the Sunset Pavilion. Bai Qiu Luo had been chased by a girl and they had fought. The results of that battle were tragic. Bai Qiu Luo hadn't managed to kill the girl, but he had injured her. However, Bai Qiu Luo had lost an arm. One of the 10 strongest cultivators of the province had lost an arm, so everyone was astonished. Not long after, people continued talking about what was happening. The girl continued chasing Bai Qiu Luo even though she was injured. She chased him unceasingly. She chased him from the western part of Ba Huang to the central part of Ba Huang. Why did that girl want to kill Bai Qiu Luo so badly? Chapter 12:20, Central part of Ba Huang. Once in the central part of Ba Huang, some people had appeared. On one side, there were many people, while on the other side, there was only one girl who was soaked in blood. Yuxian, go back, said a middle-aged man. They had been traveling for 7 days to finally stop her. Yuxian shook her head and said, No, father, you go back. I'm not myself anymore. I'm not your daughter anymore. What's wrong with you? Asked the middle-aged man furiously. Yuxian was acting like a stranger to him. I'm practicing mercilessness cultivation, so I'm emotionless now. I want to put distance between myself and the clan, said Yuxian naturally. She sounded emotionless and aggressive. She was wondering if she would kill her own people if she continued practicing mercilessness cultivation. She was still scared to harm her loved ones, so she wanted to put distance between them. We raised you and now you want to cut relations with us. After the support we gave you, you want to abandon us? How shameless, said Qiu Hao coldly. Look at your daughter, said Qiu Hao to Yuxian's father, furiously. Yuxian moved her hand and Qiu Hao sensed a coldness invade his body. He couldn't move anymore, he was petrified. A moon descended from the sky and turned into a cold moon-like sword. Qiu Hao was incredulous, his third eye started bleeding, he looked terrified. Bzzz, Yuxian's body turned into a beam of light as she ran away. Merciless Qi Rose lingered in the air after she left. They didn't chase her any further though. They turned around and looked at Qiu Hao. He slowly collapsed, dead. Mercilessness. She didn't mind killing Qiu Hao anyway, who was he to her? Back in the northern part of Ba Huang, Tiantai disciples were talking. They didn't want to leave Tiantai because of the tensions between western Ba Huang and the northern Ba Huang. 68 disciples from Tianlong Divine Castle had been killed. It had nothing to do with Tiantai and only they knew that. After that incident, 2 disciples left Tiantai and then disappeared. Rumor had it that Tianlong Divine Castle had killed them. After that, Ruo Xia left alone and killed more than a dozen Zun cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle. People in the region were astonished. A real conflict had started between Tiantai and Tianlong Divine Castle. Whenever they saw each other, they would immediately kill each other. There were no longer any rules after what Tianlong Divine Castle had done. Tianlong Divine Castle will disappear if it continues going this way. We don't have as many disciples, but our 2 emperors and the direct disciples are peerless cultivators. They can kill the remaining cultivators easily. Not necessarily. Tianlong Divine Castle is resorting to sly methods. And each time Tianlong Divine Castle sends people, they're stronger than the previous ones. We should still be careful. Tianlong Divine Castle has a longer history than ours, but Emperor Tianlong is not as strong as our 2 teachers together. Don't forget Brother Tianqi, Brother Ruo Xia and Brother Lin Feng. They're all incredible geniuses. Lin Feng has been to the sky above the sky and has become a direct disciple, then he defeated Longteng in Qi Tian Shan. Lin Feng defeated Longteng, a Zun cultivator, with the strength of the 8th Tian Qi layer. Oh right, it's also said that Qiu Yuxian started practicing mercilessness cultivation because of Lin Feng and that she chased Bai Qiu Luo over a huge distance. She even cut off one of his arms. Mercilessness cultivation is better than sexual desire cultivation. Lin Feng jumped out of the clouds, his hair was long and he had a sword on his back. He gazed into the distance, in the direction of central Ba Huang. Even though you're merciless, why did you kill 68 imperial cultivation disciples from Tianlong Divine Castle? Why did you chase Bai Qiu Luo over such a long distance? Whispered Lin Feng. He recalled Qiu Yuxian's coldness on that night. Did she mean what she had told him? Nowadays, there are many groups of influence in the central part of Ba Huang, only the brutal parts of Ba Huang can be mentioned in equal terms. You went to the central part of Ba Huang alone, so many people are going to cast their eyes on you. How will you kill Bai Qiu Luo in such conditions? Whispered Lin Feng. He was upset. Maybe Bai Qiu Luo really was one of the 7 assassins. When Bai Qiu Luo had attacked Lin Feng in the illusion, nobody else had seen him. Even if Lin Feng said that Bai Qiu Luo was one of the assassins, nobody would believe him. Central part of Ba Huang. Lin Feng jumped in the air and sat down on his sword, which then streaked across the sky. Many people in Tiantai raised their heads and looked at Lin Feng. They sighed. Where was he going this time? Many people from Tianlong Divine Castle wanted to kill him and yet, Lin Feng was leaving alone. 7 days later, in central Ba Huang, news that Qiu Yuxian had started practicing mercilessness cultivation spread. It was also said that she was still chasing Bai Qiu Luo and had gone to Tiansu town where Bai Qiu Luo would stop fleeing. She had chased him for so long, and now, only one of them would survive. After the news spread, many people went to Tiansu town, especially those from the 4 antique cities of central Ba Huang. Many people were excited to see Qiu Yuxian and Bai Qiu Luo's battle. Ancient mercilessness skills could be counted on one's fingers. Many people were interested in those rare skills. Inside Tiansu town, silhouettes from the Qi clan were running, and Qi Tiansheng was leading the group. Qi Jiao was on his side. After Fortune City, Qi Jiao had been eliminated from the list of the 4 most beautiful women of the region and Lin Feng's wife had replaced her. Some people still wanted to marry Qiu Yuxian, then they would have access to her mercilessness skills. Chapter 12:21, Assassination in the Ancient Town. Apart from the Qi clan, other people from the other 3 largest cities of central Ba Huang had also arrived. Sikong Shao was there, the expression in his eyes looked unfathomable and enigmatic. He was walking on the main road with quite a few people behind him. Sikong from the Sikong clan is here. I thought he usually acted alone. He must have changed. He's now surrounded by extremely strong Zun cultivators, thought some people surprised. He's not the one who came. What do you mean? Is it because it's grandfather Wen's birthday? Said that person shaking their head and smiling. Your views are too simplistic. That's only an excuse for them to go to the Wen clan. Have you forgotten that there was a teleportation portal at the Wen clan not that long ago? The other person was surprised after thinking about and asked, you're talking about the Tiansu ancient portal? Some people say that it can teleport people to Jiuyu. Apart from Sikong Shao, Jian Wubei also arrived in Tiansu town. People from the magic world, Heavenly Palace and the godly Xiaoyao sect also arrived. Strong cultivators from central Ba Huang also arrived. The 4 ancient cities of central Ba Huang had a very long history. Each town had their own teleportation portals. First there was Emperor Wu Tianjian in Sword City in Jianghe. Later, Jianghe had fallen and the godly Xiaoyao sect came from abroad to invade their territory. They were the second most influential group of the region at the time, but they still hadn't managed to wipe Jianghe off the map. The godly Xiaoyao sect used to be one of the most terrifying influential groups in the holy city, for Emperor Xiaoyao was a great emperor. Later, he had offended an extremely strong cultivator and was forced to leave the holy city. Afterwards, he traveled to central Ba Huang and established his sect there. It was a bit mysterious with how they lived in harmony with the other influential groups while they only oppressed Jiang'e. He used to go to Tiansu town using the Tiansu teleportation portal. It could teleport people anywhere in the continent as long as they set the geographical coordinates properly. Recently, the teleportation portal had been used a lot, nobody could keep it a secret when they used it. That teleportation portal more incredible than those found in below the Huang Sea. It could teleport people anywhere and it didn't need much time to teleport them either. Many people wondered where the Wen clan was sending their people. The other thing which angered people was that Bai Qiu Luo had said he'd fight Qiu Yu Xian in Tiansu town, however, the fight hadn't started still. People thought that Bai Qiu Luo was avoiding the battle. But Bai Qiu Luo didn't mind. It really seemed like he was hiding. Some people even thought that he'd said that on purpose, but instead, he actually left town already. It doesn't look like Sword City at all, but at least it appears simple. It contains lots of energies, and it seems perfect for practicing cultivation and studying abstruse energies, whispered Lin Feng while studying the energies of the city. The Wen clan is the most powerful clan in Tiansu town because they know some deadly abstruse energies, don't they use empty space energies, thought Lin Feng. Wen Tiangu was a genius from the Wen clan. He was a real killer who understood speed abstruse energies, but did he also know empty space abstruse energies too? Besides, the Wen clan was a very old clan in the town. Like the Qi clan from eastern Ba Huang and the Xikong clan from central Ba Huang, those kinds of clans were terrifying. Sister Mei, guess what that cultivator's cultivation level is, said a girl pointing at Lin Feng. I don't know. It's almost as if he didn't practice cultivation. He gives people a strong impression that he's using the human-earth fusion though. Maybe he's at the top of the Tian Qi layer, replied a beautiful girl. Lin Feng looked like an ordinary cultivator to most people because he didn't show off any qi. But in Tiansu town, there weren't any ordinary people. Maybe, said the other girl smiling. We won't know for sure unless you go and ask him. When she finished talking, a terrifying qi invaded the area and moved towards the young man they were talking about. The young man immediately released empty space and sword energies. In a flash, blood splashed and a body fell to the ground. An assassin, those people who were laughing and talking were instantly speechless. What a powerful sword attack. They didn't even have time to see what happened. He had unsheathed his sword, then the assassin died. Lin Feng remained calm afterward. He continued walking ahead, leaving the corpse behind him as if nothing had ever happened. Sister Mei, his attack had the power of the Zun Qi layer. He's so young and he has probably already broken through to the Zun Qi layer. The strongest young cultivator from the family is far from being that strong, don't you think, said one of the girls. Lin Feng didn't pay attention to the people who were looking at him. Instead, he continued walking ahead on the main road. His steps were soft and he didn't make any sounds. He released his godly awareness and separated it into many threads to scout the area. A dazzling sword light appeared. It wasn't Lin Feng's sword, but it was moving towards Lin Feng. The attacker was a young man who could easily kill a cultivator at the top of the Tian Qi layer. However, Lin Feng wasn't an ordinary cultivator at the top of the Tian Qi layer. Lin Feng sensed everything going around him with his godly awareness. Lin Feng raised his hand, just like he had done a moment before, and sword lights appeared. He moved like the wind and then there were very subtle sounds. The attacker's sword energies were destroyed and blood dripped from his body as he fell down from the sky. Was I right? Thought Lin Feng smiling in a resplendent way. He continued walking forward still inspecting the surroundings with his godly awareness. If Bai Qiu Luo was really an assassin from the Imperial Assassin Union, then it would explain a lot. It would mean that the Imperial Assassin Union had already started expanding in Tiansu town. For people like Lin Feng, that was bad news because Qiu Yu Xian had come alone and was on a killing frenzy. Lin Feng continued walking and he continued to kill 7 more people. Each time he killed someone, it attracted him even more attention. Those assassins were incredibly strong, but that young man had managed to kill them each time with only one sword strike. Slash, another dazzling light appeared, but this time, it wasn't just one sword, there were 7 sword lights moving towards Lin Feng. Empty space, change, said Lin Feng. The space around him undulated and then Lin Feng disappeared. Soon enough, he reappeared above those 7 people. The crowd saw dazzling lights containing thunderous energies as a destructive sword came out. 7 sword lights, 7 corpses. They hadn't even seen it coming as they fell down from the sky. Slash, as the crowd was amazed by Lin Feng's swordsmanship, another dazzling sword light appeared and was aimed at Lin Feng's throat. Abstruse strength, speed, abstruse energies. Chapter 12:22, Great Battle Against Zune Cultivators. In the cultivation world, apart from physical strength, there were other factors which mattered like reaction times, stealth, and speed. If a cultivator possessed all those things, he could appear even stronger than others at his level. In that same regard, those who had these skills could kill in one shot and could be considered excellent assassins. Slash, the sword dug into Lin Feng's body. The crowd was astonished. Was he dead? There was no blood. Suddenly, they realized that the sword had actually pierced through nothing, just void. Lin Feng had disappeared to a different space. As Lin Feng reappeared, he used his Desolate Xana attack. The opponent had loosened their guard because he thought that he had just killed Lin Feng, but instead Lin Feng's sword now threatened his life. Blood splashed as Lin Feng beheaded the enemy. The strong assassin failed to kill Lin Feng again. That guy was a strong assassin of the Zune Qi layer and that young man still killed him, thought the crowd shivering. Lin Feng looked so calm and he could teleport in a split second. Actually, Lin Feng wasn't as strong as the crowd was thinking. He was sweating and nervous too. If he hadn't had his empty space robe, even if he hadn't died, he would have been badly injured. Just how many of those assassins were there? Lin Feng continued dispersing his godly awareness in the surroundings. He was worried for Qiu Yuxian too. Maybe they had tried to kill her too. There was a large empty space in front of Lin Feng. Because of all those people he had killed, the crowd was making space for him. They didn't want to upset him, nor did they want to be caught up in any future sneak attacks. A dozen people were floating in the sky on both sides of the road. They quickly surrounded Lin Feng. They're all Zune cultivators, thought the crowd. More than a dozen cultivators and their blood strength was incredible. Just who's that young man? How come so many assassins want to kill him? There are so many Zune cultivators now, it seems difficult to kill him, thought the crowd. That strong cultivator looked like he was only 20 years old. Even the 10 strongest cultivators of the province didn't attract so much attention. Lin Feng sensed all those energies. He remained calm as he whispered, Tianlong Divine Castle's people. A moment before, those who had tried to kill him were from the Imperial Assassin Union, but now the people blocking his way were from Tianlong Divine Castle. If Bai Qiu Luo organized all of this, he's even more terrifying than I thought Lin Feng. He hadn't even arrived in the city center of Tiansu town and he was already being attacked. It was as if they had known that he would come. Lin Feng, you'll die today, said a strong cultivator coldly. The crowd in the distance finally understood. Lin Feng, that was Lin Feng. They had imagined him to be exactly that way, young, long hair, clean clothes, an ancient sword on his back. I'm used to Tianlong Divine Castle's slyness. Come and fight, said Lin Feng in a deep voice. Then, he rose up in the air while releasing whistling energies. A terrifying sword chi reached up to heavens. The dozen Zune cultivators remained fearless. Alright, since you want to die, we'll help you achieve your goal. Dragon bite, die, said the cultivator in a cold way. Dragons appeared in the sky and their dragon chi was palpable. Then they moved towards Lin Feng. Desolate explosion. A sword light pierced through the dragon energies. Dazzling flames illuminated the sky, and a black destructive strength appeared. Arg! A dragon threw itself at Lin Feng. If it managed to grab Lin Feng, he would die. Slash! Lin Feng unsheathed his Tianji sword, and in a flash, the ferocious dragons roared in pain. The first Zun cultivator collapsed. First, he was stabbed by the sword and then his body exploded when he was struck by lightning. Bzzz, the space shook as Lin Feng disappeared. The place where Lin Feng was standing a moment before exploded and was now riddled with gaping wounds. Desolate Xana. Lin Feng's Tianji sword stabbed a Zun cultivator. At the same time, several more dragons attacked Lin Feng again. Go! A gigantic cauldron appeared and the dragons fell into it. Ebullition sounds were quickly followed by horrible shrieks. Burn and die. Lin Feng attacked the dragons in his cauldron and explosions sounded. The golden crow fire emerged. Two Zun cultivators flew as fast as they could, but they were stuck in the golden crow fire and gave horrible shrieks as they burned alive. Arg! A gigantic dragon descended from the sky and moved towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't even look at it as he said, so close yet so far. The dragon continued moving towards Lin Feng, but it couldn't get any closer. Break! Shouted the cultivator stuck in the so close yet so far empty space spell. While he was stuck, he was also being attacked by the empty space energies. Lin Feng raised his hand just as the cultivator escaped the spell, releasing thunderous sword energies which instantly struck that cultivator. 5 Zun cultivators have been killed, the crowd was amazed. Those Zun cultivators could destroy entire mountain ranges by simply punching them. However, Lin Feng had already killed 5 of them. Even though those Zun cultivators are not incredibly strong, they are Zun-level disciples from Tianlong Divine Castle after all. The strongest one has already broken through to the 3rd Zun Qi layer, but Lin Feng seemed to be killing them so easily, thought people in the crowd. The crowd observed the abstruse energies and realized there were a few types of abstruse energies. Some of them were already level 2. His sword seemed like it acted as a medium, allowing different abstruse energies to fuse together. Chapter 12:23, Merciless Moon. The Zun cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle were incredulous. 5 people died in such a short amount of time. Surprisingly, Lin Feng could teleport over short distances and unleash incredible attacks. Focus on his godly awareness, said the cultivator of the 3rd Zun Qi layer. He opened his third eye and a dragon bearing its fangs flew out. The other Zun cultivators also released their godly awareness as golden lights illuminated the area. Several golden dragons were throwing themselves at Lin Feng. Empty space bestial illusion technique. Lin Feng's eyes suddenly looked like those of a beast. His hair suddenly grew long as Shui Ling Long celestial qi appeared. Lin Feng was now fusing empty space abstruse energies with his empty space bestial illusion technique, attempting to make the technique more substantial. Rumbling sounds appeared as the threads of dragon godly awareness crashed onto the empty space bestial illusion, but couldn't pierce through it. Lin Feng's silhouette flickered. He took out his sunset bow and a dazzling arrow appeared. Lin Feng pulled back the string, condensed empty space, wind, desolate and thunder abstruse energies inside. Lin Feng shot 8 dazzling arrows all at once. The empty space bestial illusion collapsed just as he released them. Come back, shouted the Zun cultivators in unison, recalling their godly awareness. However, Lin Feng shot all 8 arrows at the same time. They had just broken the empty space illusion, how could they escape so quickly? Explosions sounded as the arrows landed in their third eyes, destroying their godly awareness. Even the cultivator of the 3rd Zun Qi layer collapsed. Releasing godly awareness in a fight is dangerous. It left them open and Lin Feng took advantage of that, thought the crowd, keeping a mental note of it for the future. That bow is a high-level holy weapon and those arrows contain several types of abstruse energies, right? Said someone sighing. How many types of abstruse energies did Lin Feng control? I sensed wind, empty space, thunder, and some kind of destructive abstruse energies, so 4 I'd say. Any cultivator who understood 4 different types of abstruse energies could be considered a monster. Of course, those Zun cultivators from Tianlong Divine Castle had been a bit careless. They had tried using a new technique and Lin Feng had surprised them. Lin Feng put away his Heavenly 9 Dragon Cauldron and Golden Crow Fire. Then, he grabbed the loot from those Zun cultivators' bodies. If he had been in Shuiyu, those people could have destroyed the entire country. At the same time, people in Shuiyu couldn't possibly imagine what precious treasures those rings contained. I'll have to go back to Shuiyu and Tianqi sometime. Lin Feng was always worried about them. Lin Feng continued walking ahead and slowly disappeared from the crowd's field of vision. While walking inside the city center of Tiansu town, Lin Feng would glance around and listen to other people's conversations to see if he could hear about Qiu Yuxian. She was famous in Tiansu town already. Lin Feng moved faster and after half an hour, he realized that a lot of people were gathering in the same place, as if something was going to happen. "Sir, where is everybody going?" asked Lin Feng to a Tian-level cultivator. "How fast?" Lin Feng had caught up with him so fast. The man hadn't even seen him coming. "A lot of people are hunting Qiu Yuxian." "We're going to go watch," replied the man. Before he finished saying that, he sensed a strong wind brush against his body. Lin Feng had already disappeared. "What a terrifying young man," thought the man surprised. Lin Feng moved towards the place where everybody was gathering. In the distance, he saw what looked like a perilous situation. There was a beautiful and extremely strong girl fighting several strong cultivators at once. There were corpses everywhere and they were all Zun cultivators. I wouldn't have thought that such a monstrous cultivator would appear in the Qiu clan from northern Bahuang. Her mercilessness abstruse energies are terrifying. Lin Feng noticed that there were still a dozen strong cultivators in the sky. They were all Zun cultivators, without exception, and they had all surrounded Qiu Yuxian. Qiu Yuxian was soaked in blood, but she looked expressionless, merciless. Bestial moon, at that moment, dazzling lights appeared above. After Qiu Yuxian fused her blood and spirit together, her spirit was leaps and bounds ahead of what it used to be. "Sharp bestial moon," said Qiu Yuxian. The moons which had appeared turned into sharp discs and moved towards those strong cultivators. Horrible shrieks sounded as cultivators of the first Zun Qi layer instantly died. Those of the second Zun Qi layer couldn't stand it either. Slash, above Qiu Yuxian, a dazzling sword light appeared. The Imperial Assassin Union. Lin Feng's face turned rigid. Those who weren't already dead also threw themselves at Qiu Yuxian. Lin Feng rose up in the air and raised his bow. He immediately shot arrows at them to block their assault. The crowd watched as Qiu Yuxian release another bestial moon. The sword lights which were aimed at her crashed into her moon and stopped, it seemed like they were freezing. "Moon assassin," said Qiu Yuxian. This time her moon broke apart and the pieces found their own targets. Blood quickly ensued. The others continued throwing themselves at Qiu Yuxian, but at the same time, Lin Feng shot his arrows. They instantly changed their path and attacked the arrows, but they couldn't stand it as they were propelled backwards. While they were busy blocking the arrows, a merciless moon appeared again. What an incredible fighting strategy! No wonder Bai Qiu Luo couldn't compete with her, thought the crowd, amazed. Lin Feng was just as surprised. What a terrifying spirit, it perfectly matched such a beautiful woman. How had Qiu Yuxian become so strong though? It was an incredible change, as if she had suddenly become enlightened. Besides, if Bai Qiu Luo had planned all this, Lin Feng was worried that this was just the start. Bai Qiu Luo seemed to know too many influential people. 2 cultivators of the 3rd Zun Qi layer had already appeared and a few medium-level Zun cultivators. Besides, Tianlong Divine Castle knew where Lin Feng was, weren't they going to dispatch even more stronger cultivators? Medium-level Zune cultivators were already not that easy to defeat anymore. Zune cultivators could do whatever they wanted, such as Tian Qi the Sadhu who had broken through to the 4th Zune Qi layer. Chapter 1225, Yendi's Stupid Ideas, You're using your own life to threaten yourself, said a cold voice. So what? I'm warning you, if you kill him, I'll definitely kill myself, said Qiu Yuxian again. Lin Feng was astonished. What the hell was going on? If that had been body capture, the former Qiu Yuxian wouldn't exist anymore, she would have been completely replaced, but it definitely seemed like there were two people in one body. Lin Feng didn't understand. How? Why? Don't forget that you're practicing mercilessness cultivation. If you stop now, how will you become a peerless cultivator? I never wanted to practice mercilessness cultivation, you forced me. I can promise to continue practicing mercilessness cultivation, but you can't kill him. Since Lin Feng had discovered what was going on, the two personalities talked without any restraint. Alright, if you continue practicing mercilessness cultivation, I won't kill him, but if he touches my body again, I'll have to teach him a lesson, said Qiu Yuxian. She looked normal again as she looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng, leave now. Tell me what's going on, insisted Lin Feng. Don't ask, please, said Qiu Yuxian. She looked like she was in pain. Lin Feng remained silent and nodded. He sighed and said, Can you control her? Don't worry, I'll be fine, said Qiu Yuxian smiling indifferently. Lin Feng needed to think about what he could do for her. He left, but Qiu Yuxian looked at leaving him with pain, with a deep-rooted love. She didn't want to let him go actually. Unfortunately, sighed Qiu Yuxian. Unfortunately? You probably think that if I continue practicing mercilessness cultivation you will eventually take full control of my body and in the end you will kill him, right? Stop thinking about that. Practice cultivation and you'll become a peerless cultivator, whispered Qiu Yuxian, seemingly chatting to herself. After that, everything went silent. After Lin Feng left, Qiu Yuxian sat down on a bamboo chair. She couldn't control her emotions anymore. Lin Feng was soon surprised by a voice above him. It was Qiong Qi. Good heavens, said the Taoist monk as he descended from the sky towards Lin Feng. Do you know what's going on? Asked Lin Feng. He had almost forgotten about him. He probably knew about Qiu Yuxian's condition. I am omniscient. There's nothing that I don't know, said Yendi proudly, looking at Lin Feng in a disdainful way. Is it body capture technique or something else? Asked Lin Feng. Even though he knew it wasn't, he still had to ask. Of course it's not, otherwise you'd be dead. Well, what is it then? Why is she changing? Do you believe in the afterlife or in reincarnation? Asked Yendi narrowing his eyes. Just tell me, said Lin Feng. I don't believe in the afterlife or in reincarnation, but imagine if your little sweetheart was the reincarnation of a strong cultivator. Said Yendi, narrowing his eyes. If she was the reincarnation of a strong cultivator, she'd be a strong cultivator. How could she have become like that? What if she were suddenly aware of her previous life, said Qiong Qi using telepathy. Lin Feng looked surprised and sad, but Yendi smiled and said, Don't worry, I'm not so sure. I told you, I don't believe in the afterlife or in reincarnation, but you can still try to understand it that way. After all, some peerless cultivators have incredible powers which they can use to come back to life. Lin Feng stared at him. Qiong Qi was hiding something. Can you be any clearer? Said Lin Feng. I can tell you how to rescue your little sweetheart, said Yendi smiling. How? Yendi narrowed his eyes. He now had a strange expression. She practices mercilessness cultivation which pushes her towards emotionless. Maybe the Kamadhatu, the 6 heavens of desire and passion skill from the heavens of desire's palace can help you control her, said Yendi smiling and giggling. Lin Feng rolled his eyes. I'm telling you, she will continue to become even more emotionless, and when she becomes entirely emotionless, she won't be your little sweetheart anymore. If you want to prevent that, you will have to force emotions into her, thus forcing her to give up practicing mercilessness cultivation. How can I cast the Kamadhatu, the 6 heavens of desire and passion spell? Asked Lin Feng angrily. I thought that the Kamadhatu, the 6 heavens of desire and passion spell was a good choice for her too, said Cheong Chi smiling. But, if you want to make her give up mercilessness and emotionlessness, you must capture her other self, no matter what cost. The best scenario would be if you could impregnate her, then she'd give birth to a child and she couldn't remain emotionless anymore, said Yen Di smiling. Lin Feng was speechless, that suggestion was beyond his expectations. Are you sure you're not trying to fool me? Said Lin Feng. I'm a great emperor, why would I? Said Yen Di putting his hand on his heart. Lin Feng was perturbed. He had never tried to force Chiu Yuxian to do anything, he had always been honest with her. Do you want to save her or not? That's your own decision. But soon, she won't be herself anymore, and when you battle to the death, don't tell me I didn't warn you. Anyways, I'm off. I need a rest, said Yen Di in a serious way. Then, he turned around and went to a room. Yen Di smiled in an evil way once he entered the room. He was in a good mood as he whispered to himself, that'd be extremely funny if they had a baby. Of course, Lin Feng didn't know what Cheong Chi was thinking. He was seated on a chair, looking at the ceiling. It was getting dark outside and the moon was rising. Lin Feng released his godly awareness and explored the courtyard. Chiu Yuxian was doing the same as him, she was seated outside, looking rather sad. Who? Chiu Yuxian sensed something and saw Lin Feng arrive. She smiled indifferently. The moon was shining down on her, making her look even more beautiful. Lin Feng remembered Xian Yi back in the imperial palace, they looked so similar. Since we're lovers, how could she be emotionless, whispered Lin Feng. He sat down next to her. She shivered, if she was emotionless, how could she be in love? Chapter 12:26, Godly Awareness Killing. Chiu Yuxian raised her head and said, let's say I'm unlucky. But on the bright side, practicing mercilessness cultivation is not that bad. From now on, nobody can stop me in Ba Huang. You're lying, said Lin Feng before adding, if you were emotionless and merciless, even if you killed all your enemies, how could you ever lose that smile? I'm not lying. Maybe I'll continue failing, but I will continue concentrating on my cultivation, and in the future I won't be conflicted anymore, said Chiu Yuxian as if she were trying to convince herself, but she didn't really believe what she was saying. Why are you trying to lie to yourself? Whispered Lin Feng. He put his hand on her hand, she tried to move, but he didn't let her go, so she stopped struggling. I promised you I'd come to the Chiu clan to ask for permission to marry you, how come you started practicing mercilessness cultivation, said Lin Feng. She looked at the sky, she seemed to be muttering to herself. Chiu Yuxian shivered, moved her hand, but she couldn't. I will never go back to the Chiu clan, so there's no need to go back there and ask for their permission to marry me, said Chiu Yuxian turning her head. She looked at Lin Feng and smiled, I'll practice mercilessness cultivation to kill all your enemies. I'll protect you, isn't that good enough? That's why you killed 68 disciples from Tianlong Divine Castle and chased by Chiu Luo? Asked Lin Feng. Her eyes were so beautiful, but she lowered her head. She couldn't look Lin Feng's in eyes. Silly girl, said Lin Feng caressing her. Chiu Yuxian shivered, her head was getting too close to Lin Feng's. I have my own way. I'm walking my own path. How can I become stronger if you kill my enemies? Said Lin Feng gently. I don't need you to protect me. I just want you to be with me. Tears appeared in Chiu Yuxian's eyes, she looked sad and moved away. Lin Feng, no matter what, I'll just concentrate on cultivation and I'll never hurt you, said Chiu Yuxian smiling. Chiu Yuxian blushed. Lin Feng approached her and kissed her cold lips. Qiu Yuxian shuddered, she felt like she was suffocating. Finally, Qiu Yuxian put her arms around Lin Feng and hugged him. It felt warm to be against him. At the same time, a terrible coldness invaded her body. Coldness and warmth were fighting inside her body. Lin Feng sensed mercilessness qi and said gently, Yuxian, I know you have two personalities right now, but you can fight her. Right, said Qiu Yuxian nodding. She tried to control herself. She suddenly looked cold, then she looked warm again and smiled at Lin Feng. Yuxian, give up mercilessness cultivation, otherwise you won't be able to control that side anymore. Lin Feng was still hugging her. Lin Feng, I don't want to practice mercilessness cultivation, it's my other personality who wants to. Do you understand? Said Qiu Yuxian. She couldn't explain exactly how she felt. I understand, said Lin Feng nodding. She finally admitted that nobody had cast a body capture spell on her, that instead she had two personalities. No wonder Cheong Qi told me to use the Kamadhatu, the 6 heavens of desire and passion spell on her, thought Lin Feng. Even though Cheong Qi's suggestion was stupid, it wasn't groundless. If Qiu Yuxian practiced a spell which was antagonist to her merciless and emotionless side, her merciless side would weaken. That way, she would be able to control incredible mercilessness spells herself. It seems like I need to use a powerful spell to help her, thought Lin Feng. How could he let her deteriorate? From now on, you'll always stay with me, said Lin Feng holding Qiu Yuxian's hand. Qiu Yuxian nodded. Who's that? At that moment, Lin Feng's godly awareness found someone, so he instantly grabbed them. Let me go, shouted a girl. Who are you? Why are you spying on us? Said Lin Feng coldly. I don't need to justify myself, let me go otherwise I'll get violent, said the girl proudly. You want to die, said Lin Feng as his godly awareness palace attacked a thread of her godly awareness. If you dare attack my godly awareness, I'll crush you and your girl, said that girl arrogantly and aggressively. Lin Feng groaned coldly. He condensed his godly awareness and destroyed most of her godly awareness. How could she act so aggressively? Ah, a horrible shriek sounded and some people heard that inside their rooms. Silhouettes flickered and landed in the courtyard. Those people were extremely strong cultivators. Some of them were even Zun cultivators. Jiao Jiao, what's wrong? Asked a young man walking to the young girl. Brother, that bastard Lin Feng attacked my godly awareness, kill him. That girl was Qi Jiao Jiao. She had also released her godly awareness and found Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian. Lin Feng had destroyed a part of her godly awareness and nobody had ever done that to her before. Besides, she still wanted to get revenge for what Lin Feng had done to her in Fortune City. Lin Feng. Jiao Jiao, have a good rest. We'll see what happens after the Wen clan's event, said Qi Tianxing before leaving. Chapter 12:27, Fighting against Lin Feng. Qi Tianxing went to another courtyard where 2 old men were sitting. Is it because of Lin Feng? Said one of them. Qi Tianxing turned around and said, this time, we came to Tiansu town to understand why the Wen clan is using the portal. So I don't want to bother with too many other things. Lin Feng has become famous and the diviner thinks very highly of him. We should investigate, only investigate. If he's too weak, we can kill him easily, said Qi Tianxing. Then, he walked to a room. Qi Tianxing had been disappointed by what the diviner had told him. He still couldn't believe that he'd end up at the bottom of the ranking list. Lin Feng had destroyed his sister's godly awareness. Did he think that because the diviner had predicted a bright future for him, he could do whatever he wanted? If Lin Feng hadn't been protected by Tian Tai and Jianga, Qi Tianxing would have killed Lin Feng openly already. Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian were still calmly sitting on the bench. Qiu Yuxian's head was resting on Lin Feng's shoulders. They both looked up at the sky, calmly, like a couple in love. Lin Feng had to be warm and loving with her if he didn't want her to become emotionless. At that moment, Lin Feng frowned. Another godly awareness was there. It seemed like they would never get their own alone time. Lin Feng released his godly awareness and had it turn into a hand, which then moved towards the spying godly awareness. However, the enemy's godly awareness turned into a sharp owl and attacked Lin Feng's godly awareness. Boom! That godly awareness was even more powerful than the godly awareness he had seen before. Lin Feng's godly awareness hand immediately broke. He groaned and his face turned deathly pale. What a strong Zun cultivator, thought Lin Feng. The girl who had threatened him had probably sent some people. Tap tap, the sound of soft steps could be heard. Outside of the courtyard, an old man appeared. Lin Feng sensed his presence. He was there to protect the godly awareness which had attacked Lin Feng. In other words, there were two people. Are you trying to investigate me? Lin Feng smiled coldly. His godly awareness turned into an ancient bell. The sharp godly awareness collided with Lin Feng's ancient bell. The bell resonated and the sharp godly awareness instantly broke apart. Break, shouted Lin Feng. His ancient bell resonated again as golden lights appeared and continued bombarding the sharp godly awareness. However, at the same time, a terrifying godly awareness arrived as well. The old man from outside was getting ready to attack too. The arriving godly awareness condensed again and turned into a gigantic godly hammer. Golden threads emerged from the hammer and a terrifying chi emanated out. Lin Feng sensed that his godly awareness was too weak compared to his opponent's. Dong! The hammer descended from the sky and cracked ancient bell. Lin Feng immediately condensed his godly awareness, turned it into a gigantic palace. Godly Awareness Palace. Chiu Yuxian looked extremely surprised. Her other personality said, "The Sky Palace, what's the date tonight?" That palace is tiny, how can you call it a Godly Awareness Palace? Break, said the old man who had the hammer. His hammer then moved towards the Godly Awareness Palace. Bzzz, suddenly, the buildings in the courtyard collapsed as a strong wind started blowing. The Godly Awareness Palace started shaking violently, but it didn't collapse. Lin Feng groaned and shouted, "Constriction." His Godly Awareness Palace grew in size and a gigantic door opened. The hammer entered it and then Lin Feng closed the door with the hammer stuck inside. Break, the hammer was stuck in the Godly Awareness Palace and attacked it from the inside. However, Lin Feng had put a lot of time into the palace. There were marks inside which quickly lit up. The hammer was stuck. "Help me," shouted the old man who had the Godly Awareness hammer. Then, a silhouette flew into the courtyard where Lin Feng was. Chiu Yuxian's silhouette flickered as she blocked him. A cultivator of the third Zun Qi layer. The godly awareness that Lin Feng had imprisoned also belonged to a cultivator of the third Zun Qi layer. "Die!" shouted the old man, releasing incredible qi. He had broken through to the third Zun Qi layer, so he was almost a medium-level Zun cultivator. He didn't know that Chiu Yuxian had only broken through to the first Zun Qi layer. Chiu Yuxian suddenly felt like she was trapped in a cage. If that cage became tangible, she'd die inside. Empty space energies, level 3 abstruse energies. Lin Feng was incredulous. If he condensed 3 types of abstruse energies, he could defeat a cultivator of the third Zun Qi layer, but last time Lin Feng had fought against such cultivators, they couldn't control so many types of abstruse energies. The cultivators in front of him had broken through to the third Zun Qi layer and controlled 3 different types of abstruse energies. One of them had created an empty space cage even. "Moon hand," said Chiu Yuxian. Her hand turned into a moon which assaulted the empty space cage. The empty space cage crackled under her attack. "Break," said the old man. The empty space cage broke the moon attack, and at the same time he jumped, it seemed like his body was fusing together with the space around them. Instantly, he appeared in front of Chiu Yuxian. His abstruse energies turned into a gigantic hand and a metallic ringing sound appeared. Die! Shouted Lin Feng furiously. He unsheathed his Tianji sword and at the same time, in his godly awareness palace, millions of golden threads appeared. He wanted to use his sword Qi to directly break the godly awareness hammer. Boom! In the distance, more Qi shot up into the sky. The other cultivator had decided to attack Lin Feng personally, otherwise, Lin Feng would injure his godly awareness. Qi Jiao Jiao was surprised when she sensed all those energies. How come she could sense the old men's qi? Qi Tiansheng was surprised too. What were the two old men doing? Why were they releasing so much qi? Were they fighting Lin Feng using qi? They weren't the only ones to sense the powerful qi, many people in and outside the tavern sensed those energies. Many people rose up in the air, they wanted to see what was going on. Chapter 12:28, Who do you think you are? Lin Feng's opponent was going to block his Tianji sword with his hands. An empty space energy appeared and moved towards Lin Feng. Bzzz. Lin Feng dodged. The ground behind broke apart and fissures appeared. Lin Feng grabbed his Tianji sword again. Then he said to Qiu Yuxian, freeze him, I'll behead him. Alright, replied Qiu Yuxian. Then, a cold moon appeared and at the same time, another moon appeared from inside her body. Break! Shouted the old man furiously. His silhouette flickered as he released an empty space hand technique which moved towards the moon. However, several moonlight beams shined upon his body. 9 moons' energies condensed on that cultivator's body. And then merciless energies appeared and corroded his body. Freeze, said Qiu Yuxian. Desolate Xana. Dazzling sword energies appeared at the same time. Lin Feng used his Desolate Xana attack to pierce through Qiu Yuxian's moon energies, reaching his enemy's body and lacerating him. Together, they had managed to kill a cultivator of the 3rd Zun Qi layer. Those two younguns are so strong, though some people in the sky. Many people were watching. A cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer and a beautiful girl of the 1st Zun Qi layer had joined hands to kill a cultivator of the 3rd Zun Qi layer in just a few minutes. That's Qiu Yuxian, I've already seen her kill many low-level Zun cultivators. Qiu Yuxian, the crowd was gasping with admiration and amazement. That young man is Lin Feng, said someone else. I heard that Lin Feng fought Long Teng because of Qiu Yuxian. They must have an intimate relationship. Right, the two rising geniuses from northern Ba Huang are lovers too, what a perfect match. Unfortunately, Qiu Yuxian is practicing merciless cultivation, they won't stay together for very long. People were chatting, but at that moment, another strong cultivator arrived and his godly awareness was still stuck in Lin Feng's godly awareness palace. The constant internal assault on Lin Feng's godly awareness was extremely painful. Initially, he wanted to kill Lin Feng using his godly awareness, but now Qiu Yuxian and Lin Feng were joining hands. Let's forget about it, what do you think, said that person to Lin Feng. His godly awareness was stuck in Lin Feng's godly awareness, he had no choice but to show how weak was. You wanted to destroy my godly awareness, how could I forget that? You're ridiculous, said Lin Feng. The old man's face turned deathly pale. How come Lin Feng's godly awareness palace was so powerful? Anyone can make mistakes, forgive them when possible, so there's no need to kill if it is unnecessary, said the old man as if he was lecturing Lin Feng. You attacked me with your godly awareness, and now you want me to forgive you? Ridiculous. Lin Feng never killed people who didn't threaten him, but when they did, he did his best to kill them. How could he let someone off when they had tried to take his life? Die. The golden lights inside Lin Feng's godly awareness palace turned into a golden rain and broke apart the godly awareness hammer. The old man's face turned deathly pale from the pain. That's enough. You killed someone already, so there's no need to kill everyone, said someone else. It's Qi Tiansheng, one of the 10 strongest cultivators, said someone in the crowd. Lin Feng turned around and looked at Qi Tiansheng. Then he said indifferently, "Does this have anything to do with you?" Interesting, thought the crowd. They were wondering what would happen if Qi Tiansheng and Lin Feng fought. Who was the strongest one? Even though many people said Lin Feng had become one of the 10 strongest cultivators of the province, he hadn't actually fought any of them. Qi Tiansheng was officially one of the 10 strongest cultivators of the province and his social status was quite high. He's an elder. You already harmed his godly awareness, that's enough. Be merciful now, said Qi Tiansheng. Lin Feng looked at him indifferently, you're lecturing me? Look at yourself first. You plot behind people's back, everyone knows how you operate, said Lin Feng. He saw Qi Jiao behind Qi Tiansheng so he understood what was going on. The godly awareness who had attacked him before was hers. He hadn't recognized it because he didn't care much about her. Ah, the old man gave a horrible shriek. Lin Feng was still attacking his godly awareness. He couldn't stand the pain anymore. Let him off, said Qi Tiansheng while releasing ice-cold energies. Bzzz. The godly awareness palace disappeared and the godly awareness hammer was propelled away. The crowd sighed, it seemed like Lin Feng wouldn't destroy the old man's godly awareness. After all, Tiantai thought highly of Lin Feng, but Qi Tiansheng had imperial blood. Lin Feng probably knows he can't compete with them so he released the old man's godly awareness, thought everybody. But suddenly a dazzling light illuminated the night sky. Ah, a horrible shriek resonated in people's ears. Lin Feng had slit the old man's godly awareness with his sword. He showed absolutely no mercy. They thought Lin Feng would let him off, they weren't watching his sword though. Qi Tiansheng was just as astonished as the crowd. He looked at Lin Feng calmly, but the crowd understood that calmness hid something. Lin Feng wasn't arrogant, but he wasn't a coward either. He never thought he was better than others, not even Qi Tiansheng. He had left Shuiyu for Ba Huang province and had progressed since by relying on his own abilities. Lin Feng had many ways to protect himself now, Tiantai, Jianga, his cursing scepter, Emperor Wu Tianjian's sword, that was why Lin Feng remained fearless. Who do you think you are? Said Lin Feng indifferently, holding his Tianji sword. Being merciful? Ridiculous, if they wanted to fight, they had to bear the responsibility for it. Of course, many people had ulterior motives. They were wondering why the Wen clan was using the Tian Su teleportation portal so much and where they were sending their strong cultivators. Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian were walking in Tian Su town when they heard people talking about that. They also understood a bit more about that clan. According to rumors, the Wen clan was very mysterious. Nobody knew what happened behind the scenes. Besides, each generation of the Wens had an incredible genius. Wen Tiangu, the current genius at the time, did not have a special body, but he was still one of the 10 strongest cultivators of the region. On top of that, Wen Tiangu had always been in the top 5. Lin Feng recalled Wen Tiangu, an extraordinary young man with a nice smile and outstanding killing abilities. The Wen clan had emperors, so they had to have their own small worlds, however, they didn't live in their small worlds. They preferred Tian Su town instead. Maybe their small worlds had special uses. Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian arrived in front of the Wen clan's gate. There were many people there already and the high officials of the Wen clan were welcoming people warmly. Once inside, people had to give their names. They would obtain different seats according to their social status. Celestial land of alchemists, Wu Qing, said someone in front of Lin Feng. The old man at the entrance gave Wu Qing a golden invitation letter. Many people looked at him with admiration. With a golden invitation, guests could already sit just outside of the main hall. Being from the celestial land of alchemists was a high social status. Tian Tai, Lin Feng, and Chiu Yuxian, said Lin Feng in a low voice. The old man was about to give him a golden card when someone said, "Wait." The old man stopped moving, and the person who had said that gave Lin Feng and Chiu Yuxian an invitation, each with the word "one" written on it. "You can sit in the very main hall." Many people were astonished. That was the best place. People who could sit there were incredible. They were usually old outstanding cultivators, but Lin Feng and Chiu Yuxian were so young. The old man at the entrance smiled as if he had thought of something and then let them in. "It seems like we're quite famous and have a good reputation," said Lin Feng, smiling using telepathy. Wu Qing from the celestial land of alchemists could only sit outside. It wasn't because the Wens respected Tian Tai more than the celestial place of the alchemists. The celestial land of alchemists had existed for a long time, after all. It was because of their names, Lin Feng and Chiu Yuxian. It also meant that the Wens now considered them as some of the 10 strongest young cultivators of the province. "But today is also the date of my battle against Bai Qiu Luo. Going inside might be troublesome," said Chiu Yuxian in a low voice. It was Grandfather Wen's birthday. Had Bai Qiu Luo plotted something? "We'll see," replied Lin Feng. Even if Bai Qiu Luo wasn't there, Lin Feng would have come anyways. There were going to be many strong cultivators for Grandfather Wen's birthday. Chapter 12:30, a small lesson. Lin Feng and Chiu Yuxian walked through the halls and corridors and courtyards. Each courtyard and hall had loads of alcohol. Great cultivators in Ba Huang province didn't take the initiative to invite people to their birthdays. People could come as they wished. This was better than forgetting some people and offending them. Therefore, they didn't treat their guests unfairly. Of course, people who came also had a certain social status. Ordinary people from the street couldn't simply go to the Wens as they wished. The Wen clan had prepared a lot for the occasion. Alcohol was flowing, there were gigantic bowls of fruits, and there were many gifts. Nothing there was ordinary. Even the alcohol was beneficial for cultivators. After a short time, Lin Feng and Chiu Yuxian arrived in front of the main hall, where there were gigantic cauldrons filled with alcohol. People were talking with each other. Amongst them, there were many Zun cultivators. So many people, thought Lin Feng, glancing at the crowd. Many people possessed an incredible qi. There were so many incredible Zun cultivators, and those who weren't Zun cultivators probably had a very high social status. If it had been a few years before, Lin Feng would have never been able to hang out with such people. He sighed when thinking about that. Being a strong cultivator was opening doors for him. At that moment, someone glanced at Lin Feng in a disdainful way. Lin Feng turned his head and saw Qi Jiao Jiao. She was there too, but she could only stay outside though. There wasn't much space inside the main palace, so only Zun cultivators, or the 10 strongest cultivators from the province, could enter. Even though she was Qi Tianxing's sister, she couldn't go in with him. Otherwise, people would have taken all their friends and family members inside and there would have been too many people. Lin Feng glanced at her and turned around. He continued walking. "Jiao Jiao, who's that guy? He looks arrogant," asked one of the young men who was with her. "An evil and horrible person. He's a bit talented, but he keeps acting recklessly and attacking me," said Qi Jiao Jiao in a cold way. "Should I teach him a lesson?" asked the young man with an evil smile. His name was Chu Yan. After breaking through to the Zun Qi layer, he hadn't killed anyone. But now there was a cultivator of the Tian Qi layer whom Qi Jiao Jiao didn't like, so he could use him as a stepping stone to impress Qi Jiao Jiao. Qi Jiao Jiao smiled indifferently and said to Chu Yan, "If you can teach him a lesson, maybe I'll agree to go out with you." Chu Yan went insane as soon as he heard her. If he could have Qi Jiao Jiao as a girlfriend and then marry her, that would change his life. "Jiao Jiao, I hope you'll remember what you just said," said Chu Yan, terribly excited. Teaching a cultivator of the 8th Tian Qi layer a lesson would be easy. He walked towards Lin Feng and blocked his way. Lin Feng looked at him and then continued walking with Qiu Yuxian. They were at the Wen's. There were many extremely strong cultivators in the main hall. Almost everyone was a Zun cultivator, so Lin Feng didn't want to attract attention. Besides, that guy looked boring. However, Lin Feng may have thought that way, but Chu Yan didn't. He moved in front of Lin Feng again and said indifferently, "Today is Grandfather Wen's birthday. Even though you're here, you can't act recklessly and do whatever you want. If you go to the wrong place, you'll cause trouble and people will make fun of you." Chu Yan wanted to cause trouble. Lin Feng looked at him in a cold way. It was as if Lin Feng had sharp swords in his eyes piercing through Chu Yan. Chu Yan felt dizzy and shivered. Lin Feng condensed terrifyingly oppressive energies in his hand and a gigantic demon fist appeared. Besides, that hand also contained thunder and fire energies. Chu Yan was suffocating and his face turned deathly pale. Boom! Chu Yan released energies which dashed to the skies. Fire appeared in his hands and a gigantic fire launched out towards Lin Feng. Kacha! Lin Feng's attack easily destroyed the fire. Crackling sounds kept spreading in the air as Chu Yan fell down on his knees. Many of his bones were broken and he was soaked with cold sweat. If Chu Yan hadn't attacked first, Lin Feng's attack would have killed him. What a terrifying attack! Who's that? He has only broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer, but he made Chu Yan fall down in one strike, thought many people when they sensed those energies. Lin Feng hadn't said anything, he had just acted in self-defense. Insane indeed, but also very disrespectful. Chu Yan is respected because he's now a Zun cultivator. That guy made him lose face. The elders of your family should educate you, said Lin Feng. Then he passed by Chu Yan and continued walking. What did you say? Said a cold voice coming from inside the main hall. An old man came out, his qi was as vast as an ocean. The old man was Chu Yan's grandfather, he had broken through to the 8th Zun Qi layer, so he was a high-level Zun cultivator. Grandpa, said Chu Yan standing up. He looked extremely embarrassed. He had broken through to the Zun Qi layer, so he thought he'd oppress Lin Feng. But, in the end Lin Feng had humiliated him. You're useless. What a disgrace, said the old man angrily. His grandfather couldn't even look at him. He looked at Lin Feng and said coldly, you just said you wanted me to educate my grandson? Even though he's useless, you're not the one who can say such things either. Lin Feng looked at the old man calmly and said, he blocked my way, so I taught him a lesson. Insolent, shouted the old man. Taught him a lesson? Who do you think you are to teach my grandson a lesson? I'd like to see who your family or teachers are to have educated you like that. The old man slowly moved towards Lin Feng. A terrifying strength quickly oppressed Lin Feng. Are you sure? Asked Lin Feng indifferently. Boom! A terrifying qi appeared and surrounded Lin Feng. Cracks appeared on the ground. Have you ever been taught to respect your elders? Said the old man furiously. I will tell my fellow disciples that your grandson offended me and that I slapped him, making fall to his knees. Then, you said that you wanted to see who my teachers were. Maybe that my teachers won't fight you, but my fellow disciples will. One of them said whatever people do to me, he'll do it to them 10 times over, said Lin Feng indifferently. And who's that? Said the old man in a cold way. But at that moment, he seemed to understand that Lin Feng wasn't a nobody, so he took a step back. Mu Chen, said Lin Feng indifferently. Chapter 1231, Mu Chen's reputation in northern Bahuang. When Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu were still rising, they had only recruited 9 disciples. Nobody thought highly of them, but a little bit over a dozen years later, they started amazing the province. Especially the 3 best disciples, Mu Chen, Ho Qing Lin and Tian Qi the monk. They had never lost any battle. Tian Qi, the Buddhist monk's golden body, was almost indestructible. Ho Qing Lin controlled reincarnation energies. Mu Chen was extremely strong too, so much so that apart from emperors, nobody could defeat him. Nobody knew what Mu Chen's limits were, but if no emperor showed up, nobody could defeat him. It was said that Mu Chen had killed a cultivator who was 800 years old and had been at the top of the Zun Qi layer already for 100 years. Grandfather Wen was 600 years old and was extremely strong. He was at the top of the Zun Qi layer, but nobody would have dared state that he could defeat Mu Chen. Therefore, when Lin Feng pronounced Mu Chen's name, the atmosphere became silent instantly. Who did he think he was? Mu Chen. The old man looked petrified. Lin Feng was smiling coldly on the inside. His fellow disciple seemed to have a good reputation. Only pronouncing his name sufficed to scare people away. Ruoxia had also said it, as long as an emperor didn't show up, Mu Chen could defeat anyone. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't mind saying that when the old man oppressed him. A feudal imperial cultivation disciple, you just became part of a group and you dare act that arrogantly. You really need to be taught a lesson, said the old man coldly. An imperial cultivation disciple dared act arrogantly, but there were millions of imperial cultivation disciples in the Bahuang province. I'm sorry, but I'm now Tiantai's 11th direct disciple. You said my 2 teachers should educate me, but they don't have time to take care of worldly affairs and people like you. If Mu Chen heard someone say that, he wouldn't mind exchanging views on cultivation with you. We'll see if your arrogance is justified, said Lin Feng in a cold way. A direct disciple? Since it was that way, the old man couldn't say anything. If Chu Yan had defeated Lin Feng, Tiantai wouldn't have been able to say anything. But if the old man said Lin Feng wasn't educated, then it meant he had disrespected Lin Feng's fellow direct disciples and teachers. Mu Chen already had a reason to kill him. The old man didn't know what to say. In the cultivation world, strength was the most important thing, but honor was important too. His grandson had provoked Lin Feng and Lin Feng had taught him a lesson. If he attacked Lin Feng, it would quickly escalate tension between him and Tiantai. Brother Lin Feng, you're here. Come into the main hall, said someone happily at that moment. It was Wen Tiangu. He was wearing white clothes. Lin Feng, he's Lin Feng. The crowd was surprised. No wonder. They didn't know Lin Feng had become a direct disciple already. Lin Feng, thought the old man. Even though he didn't really care about the newer generations, he had already heard Lin Feng's name once or twice. He also knew that Tiantai and Tianlong Divine Castle's current war had started because of Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced at the old man in a cold way. The old man had shut up now. And now when Tiangu came out and called Lin Feng, giving him face. He didn't want the old man to continue harassing Lin Feng either. Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian followed Wen Tiangu into the main hall. Qi Jiao Jiao looked even worse. She had told Chu Yan to provoke Lin Feng to make him lose face. She hadn't thought things would end up that way. Brother Wen, not just anyone can enter the main hall, right? Said Qi Jiao Jiao smiling at Wen Tiangu and then glancing at Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian. In her family, only Qi Tiansheng could enter the main hall. Lin Feng took out the 2 invitation cards and showed them to Qi Jiao Jiao. You forgot what the diviner told you, don't think too highly of yourself. Outside of your clan you're a nobody, and now I'm warning you, my patience is exhaustible, said Lin Feng indifferently. He didn't even glance at her while talking, then he continued walking. Qi Jiao Jiao was aghast after thinking about he said. Lin Feng didn't feel like talking to Qi Jiao Jiao anymore. Lin Feng entered the main hall and found that it was very vast. There were a dozen people inside already. Some of them looked incredible while a few looked ordinary, but their strength was unfathomable. Of course, there were people as young as Lin Feng there too. In the main hall, Lin Feng noticed a few people he had already seen, Qi Tiansheng from the eastern part of Bahuang, Si Kong from the central part of Bahuang, Mu Fanchen from the Magic World, Heavenly Palace, and Bai Qiu Luo from the Sunset Pavilion. But now his arm was intact, he must have gotten a new arm. Bai Qiu Luo looked at Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian calmly. He even smiled in a resplendent way. It was Grandfather Wen's 600th birthday. The old man was smiling in a resplendent way. Even though he was 600 years old, his cheeks were red and he looked very fit. He was sitting on what looked like a real dragon. We are Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian from Tiantai. Happy birthday. We wish you much success and hope you can become an emperor as soon as possible, said Lin Feng politely bowing in front of the old man. Not bad, said the old man smiling and nodding at Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian. Then he said, I've been living for a long time and now that geniuses are rising, it seems like I have to hurry along or I'll soon be passed. What are you talking about? Even though geniuses are rising in Ba Huang, you'll soon be an emperor. Even if geniuses rise, they'll still look up at you, said someone smiling. That person was wearing a long robe and a helmet. You shall, you're too nice. I don't know when I will be able to break through to the next cultivation layer, but you have already broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer. You'll certainly become an emperor soon, replied the old man smiling. Yu Shao wasn't in the main palace because he had broken through to the 6th Zun Qi layer, but because he was from a powerful family in the central part of Ba Huang, the godly Shaoyao sect. You're too kind, said Yu Shao polite. He looked at Lin Feng in a deep and meaningful way. He had seen Lin Feng back then in Ganyu. Back then, Lin Feng was only at the bottom of the Tian Qi layer and now, Lin Feng had changed. He was at the top of the Tian Qi layer and could already humiliate Zun cultivators such as Chu Yan. Besides, he had become the emperor's direct disciples, which meant their social status was similar. Yu Shao didn't know that the one who had killed Prince Tian Lin was also in front of him. Lin Feng recognized Yu Shao too. He remembered when Yu Shao descended from the sky in Ahsoka and had looked at the crowd in a disdainful way. If Ho Qinglin hadn't helped Lin Feng back then, Yu Shao would have killed him. However, there was still a big difference between them. Yu Shao was already a high-level Zun cultivator. Tian Gu, Lin Feng, Qiu Yuxian and you are such young people, you should become good friends, said the old man to Wen Tian Gu. Indeed, said Wen Tian Gu nodding before he sat down next to Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian. Chapter 1232, Unanswerable Discussion. Lin Feng, your guests here, so do as you wish. The alcohol here is mixed with dragon saliva juice, you should try it, said Wen Tiangu smiling. Then, he gave Lin Feng and Qiu Yuxian 2 glasses. Thank you so much, said Lin Feng raising his glass. Then, they downed their drinks. In a flash, Lin Feng sensed the alcohol reaching his organs, making his blood boil. The Wen clan was an imperial clan, so it wasn't surprising that they had incredible things like this alcohol. It's so tasty, said Lin Feng smiling. Wen Tiangu smiled and said, you can only drink that alcohol in the main hall. Brother Lin Feng, you now have broken through to the 8th Tian Qi layer and you defeated Longting Qi Tian Shan. You have an undeserved reputation, it proves that the ranking of the 10 best cultivators of the province is meaningless. Brother Wen, you don't mind talking about that ranking list either it seems, said Lin Feng politely. At that moment, Mr. Chu walked into the palace and looked for a place to sit. He looked rather unhappy. He had been stuck in an embarrassing situation because of Lin Feng and then when Tiangu had come to rescue Lin Feng, so how could Mr. Chu be happy? He was a strong Zun cultivator. Even though Lin Feng was talented, becoming as strong as Mr. Chu was difficult and Lin Feng had offended him. Brother Lin Feng, don't take it to heart, but be careful. He could find ways to deal with you, said Wen Tiangu to Lin Feng using telepathy. If the old man wanted to harm Lin Feng, he could find ways. Alright, said Lin Feng nodding. Wen Tiangu was attempting to gain favor with Lin Feng. Brother Lin Feng, many people here are incredible cultivators from the central part of Ba Huang. Over there, next to my great-grandfather is a man from the Yen clan from Tiansu town. He has also broken through to the 9th Zun-Chi layer. Over there, that middle-aged man is a cultivator from Central Ba Huang, from the Z clan. He has broken through to the 9th Zun-Chi layer too. He has a purple eye which is the second best eye to have after the celestial eyes, said Wen Tiangu. It was extremely rare to see such people, but this time, they were all together in the same room because they all liked Grandfather Wen. Lin Feng looked at those people and sighed. So many strong cultivators came from everywhere in the region to celebrate Grandfather Wen's birthday. There were many incredible high-level Zun cultivators in the province, so many people were close to becoming emperors, but hadn't yet. Apart from emperors, not many people knew those cultivators of the 9th Zun-Chi layer. In Tiantai, I have a fellow disciple who has purple eyes. Is he related to him? Asked Lin Feng. He is from the Z clan, said Wen Tiangu, smiling and nodding. Lin Feng was surprised and asked, if he's from the Z clan, why did he leave Central Ba Huang? And why did he join Tiantai? In Central Ba Huang, there are 4 ancient cities with influential imperial groups in each of them. My clan, the Wen clan or the Si Kong clan for example, are influential clans. Many people are not willing to become disciples in clans, after all, if they don't have imperial blood, so it would be difficult to learn from an emperor, said Wen Tiangu honestly. And the magic world, Heavenly Palace only accepts people who practice illusion magic. Besides, Emperor Shi and Emperor Yu had 9 disciples and 3 of them have amazed the entire province. Therefore, I don't think it is strange to want to join Tiantai. Cultivators still have to rely on their own skills most of the time though. If those 3 people from Tiantai have amazed the entire province, it's because they have an indomitable will and they worked hard for it, said Qi Tianxing indifferently. He was walking towards them. It was basically saying that he has an indomitable will. Indeed, it's not like some people who solely rely on their clan and act arrogantly because of it. You should teach her that, said Lin Feng glancing at Qi Tianxing impolitely. He was obviously talking about Qi Jiao. Why did Qi Tianxing get involved in Wen Tiangu and Lin Feng's conversation anyway? Especially seeing how he sounded like he was lecturing them. Lin Feng couldn't stand that behavior. At least some people have a clan to rely on, not like others who act arrogant, but are actually tiny insects who could die instantly if they fought, said Qi Tianxing calmly. Long Teng wasn't even considered one of the 10 strongest cultivators. There's nothing exceptional about defeating him. Lin Feng and Qi Tianxing's argument attracted many people's attention. The very strong Zun cultivators were smiling. The purple-eyed Zun cultivator smiled and said, geniuses are rising, they're impulsive and passionate, that's the spirit. That's the only way to become a strong cultivator. Destroying people who stand in your way, it's a very honorable path. Brother Z is right. Geniuses are rising. Brother Wen, who do you think will rise and stand out in the younger generation? Asked another high-level Zun cultivator smiling. Sometimes, grand talents mature slowly, but all in all, the most important thing is determination. Those who persevere will amaze everyone. There's no specific rule to say who will stand out or not, said Grandfather Wen. He didn't want to say whom he thought highly of. He kept his thoughts to himself, that was good enough. Besides, nobody could predict anything. Even the diviner said it was impossible. I can't wait to see when Tiangu reach the clouds, said the other Zun cultivator smiling. Grandfather Wen looked happy and said, I hope he will. He needs more experience though. I will teach him some things and then I will send him to some battlefields and show him that there are many extremely powerful cultivators in this world. What you mean is, the crowd was surprised. Did the Wen clan want to send Wen Tiangu to war to experience life and death? If he doesn't face life and death experiences, he will never be strong. In the Ba Huang province, maybe there are many strong people, but they don't know what it feels like to be in real danger, said the old man sighing. Indeed, if a young man like Wen Tiangu didn't go to war to experience life and death, who would dare touch him in the Ba Huang province? When Tiangu is extremely talented and he has an incredible grandfather, he will certainly amaze the whole province soon. And the 10 strongest cultivators of the province are also amazing and incredibly talented, they will each reign over the region sooner or later, said Mr. Chu, trying to imply that Lin Feng couldn't compete with the 10 strongest cultivators. You can't say that, for things can change quickly. On the path of cultivation, nothing is impossible. A list of cultivators is the same, it changes quickly, said Mr. Wen, smiling indifferently. You're right. Even amongst the 10 strongest cultivators of the region, there are stronger people than them, said someone at that moment. The crowd saw a young man walk into the main hall. He was smiling indifferently yet slightly evilly. The Abyss of Sufferings congratulates Mr. Wen on his 600th birthday. Besides, there are so many strong, old Zun cultivators and heroic young people, why not organize some battles? I'm sure Mr. Wen would love to watch. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.